Welcome, Bastronauts. This is Teal's Bass Galaxy, an endless dimension of fishing legends and degenerates connecting through raw, real, in-person conversations and stories. No, this is not your average fishing podcast. There's no rules, there's no limits. 3, 2, 1, blast off. This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Attention all Bastronauts. This podcast is supported by the Bass Galaxy's title sponsor, Waypoint Angler Supply, the Midwest's new landing pad for hardcore anglers just like you and me. If you're looking for the sneaky goods you can't find anywhere else, look no further. Waypoint Angler Supply has the largest offering of JDM tackle in the Midwest, and they are right here in Minnesota on Lake Minnetonka. This is truly a place every bass fisherman in Minnesota needs to visit because we finally have a tackle shop in the state that's as dreamy as the ones you find down south. And the staff at Waypoint Angler Supply understands the various needs of us anglers, which is why you'll find the selection there so enticing. Ross and the folks at Waypoint Angler Supply are passionate about carrying the right stuff, providing an authentic customer experience, and they listen to the anglers. And it doesn't end at JDM baits. They stock all the top U.S. brands, as well as local Minnesota brands like Vocelka Fishing and Customs, Arsenal Fishing, Bait Lab Custom Swim Baits, All Terrain Tackle, Bagley Northland, Outcast Tackle, and more. So stop into their store on Lake Minnetonka or visit their website, waypointanglersupply.com. That's waypointanglersupply.com. In the month of October, use the code GALAXY2403. The Bass Galaxy is also supported by Vocelka Fishing and Customs, Supreme Lending, Dream Team, Lake Country Insurance Services, My Wedge Motor Support, just north of Memphis, Barbecue and Catering. Thank you. Boys, this is the first annual Waypoint Angler Supply Teal's Bass Galaxy Halloween edition.
Indeed.
We are doing some Third Street beer sampling, which I just tried to take a sip of this Oktoberfest, and a little difficult, if you couldn't really tell. Work. I need to drill a few. Did you just say that?
He just drank through his costume.
The peach is delicious.
So we've got a Third Street sampling tonight. We've got a costume contest. We brought snackle boxes and snackle bags. Yep. And probably talk a little fishing while we're at it. We got Mr. Vocelka here himself.
Howdy.
Mr. Tombstone. Were you milking the cows or
I'm just
breeding some horses?
Yeah, the latter. Taking care of the horses on the ranch. You know how we do. Coming in to talk to aliens and bastronauts, it looks like. So we're going to get some stuff accomplished here.
We've got Mr. Gaffron here, and he's about to head to the national championship. Yes. And then we've got intergalactic Ross Kellermeier here today, who's looking just spiffy as hell. He's from the planet of, where are you from?
Milfoilia.
Milfoilia.
My English isn't quite there yet, so I had it all translated. There's an explanation of my planet there if you'd like to just that gives you the summary.
This is a great way to start the show off. Do you want to read it in unison, Mr. Bastronaut?
If we can.
It'd be kind of good, kind of like church type shit. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Milfoilia is a stunning celestial body located in a distant galaxy. This enchanting planet is named after the delicate yet resilient milfoil plant,
which symbolizes creativity and determination.
Milfolia's breathtaking landscapes feature sprawling continents, shimmering crystal caverns, and vast oceans that shimmer in shades of sapphire and amethyst.
Well, good job on the amethyst.
Thank you. Tricky
I was
word.
gonna struggle with that.
Where
one.
did you find this?
I don't know, but I love it. The
Man, these-
atmosphere.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The atmosphere on Milfolia is alive with the mesmerizing dance of iridescent energy currents, creating an otherworldly spectacle that illuminates the sky. This phenomenon is known as the Milfolian aura, and it has captivated the imagination of intergalactic travelers and scientists alike. Milfolia's unique properties make it an intriguing destination for exploration and discovery, inviting those who seek to unravel its secrets.
Start at inviting.
Inviting those who seek to unravel its secrets and marvel at its beauty.
I have one question. Are there bass on Milfolia?
There will be no questions.
I guess we just gonna have to go there and find out.
I was so focused on reading in unison with you that I didn't really comprehend it. Kind of like when you used to read in class.
Yeah.
And you're like, I just read it, but I don't know what I just read. You know what I mean?
What does it mean?
Do you comprehend what you read out loud?
That mask looks so uncomfortable on your face right now.
I gotta be honest, they put a little foam piece on the inside, so it really isn't too bad.
I can feel the moisture and the sweat at the end of the night that's going to be rolling off your face.
It's building.
Who wrote that description of Milfolia?
Yeah, Ross, can you enlighten us?
Meta AI in Facebook. I asked it to write me a novel about Milfolia. So that's, yeah.
That is beautiful. AI, if you have a name, whichever AI wrote this, whether you're a man, woman, or completely artificial, that was very eloquent.
Very cybernetic.
Yeah, and then we've got Erik. Please explain. You are a bastronaut.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go do a little dance in front of that camera, all sexy for the ladies? And I'm just wondering, I'm
a part of the Waypoint space program, and our goal is exploration to other places to find the bass, and that's what we do. So, if you're interested in joining and being a bastronaut, you can slide into my Instagram DMs, and I'll get you in touch with the right people.
Hell yeah! So you got Grand Lake coming up.
Yep.
National Championship.
Indeed. Leave November 1st, so the day after this podcast comes out. So I'll definitely be listening to myself in the car. No doubt about it. So, but yeah, we're headed off to Grand Lake. We get to fish for National Championship. Try and win us a nice little trophy to hang on the walls here at Waypoint. It's always the goal.
All right, so we got our costume contest right before Erik wins the natty. We brought our snackle bags, and we've got Third Street. So let's start with, looks like 3 of us have started with the Oktoberfest Third Street. Okay, so we're going to have to pick which one's kind of our favorite before the end of the night. Ross, have you tried that peach one yet?
Yeah, it's a swing and a home run. Yeah. Yeah.
I
For
love
those of you that can't see, his costume is saturated from his nose to his chin. It is migrating around his cheek
It's
area. Very peachy.
Real peachy.
And then we've got snackle boxes. Okay, Dane forgot a snackle bag. He's a late fill-in. But I think we should start out with. You both have Japanese. You have kind of a snackle tote.
Let's start with the tote.
Erik, it looks like you brought a Gancraft box full of goodies, and I've got myself a snackle bag. This nice Arsenal bag here with some goodies in it. I'll be honest, I splurged a little bit. This isn't usually what I bring in the boat, but it's Halloween, so
And I'm guessing we got quite a few extra snacks in here we're going to talk about.
Absolutely.
We were talking a little bit about a few before the mics came on, but yeah, Ross, what's new in the tackle shop? What do you got new coming in? We talked a few weeks back, I know about them grass pieces, but I'm looking at some blue boxes that are mighty spicy.
A little something from Hide Up.
Two
things.
things.
Dude.
Two things from Hide Up.
Probably the most gangster, sneaky Japanese brand out there, and if there's a bait that
The Koiki Micro.
The Koiki
pros
Micro.
are
Talk about
eating up, it's the Koiki. But yeah, Ross, what's up with that thing?
The smallest bait I believe in the Hide Up Koiki lineup, the Koiki Micro is back in stock. A bunch of good colors. Green pumpkin, particular. That's a hard one to find, but looks small and tiny and almost like it wouldn't get noticed in the water in person, but it's got two little tickle tails on the back of it that when you put this thing on a drop shot, it's almost impossible for them to like resist it. This was one of my another sneaky dice baits when that OSP dice kind of became scarce for about 30 days there. I was throwing this a lot, and if you know, you know. That's about all that I can say about that bait. I mean, it's just a great bait. It's real durable. Got that Koiki elastomer formula. I love that bait. I love it.
You drop shot it mostly, don't you?
I pretty much only drop shot it. Yeah.
Little decoy hook.
Little no, Mukati.
Oh, what isn't that? Yeah.
Ichikawa.
Yeah. Oh, pizza.
Hand me that thing. Oh. So I had a few good days with this thing earlier this spring, and I think what's cool about it is that it's elastic. So I mean, the only way you're going to lose one is if you break it off.
Yep.
What I thought was really cool about it was see how that metal rod is going through it?
Yep.
I actually put it on a jig shank on that Nedster. So Northland makes that Nedster Ned rig head. And you can thread this on, and it's got them two little appendages, and then put a little TRD on the end of it, and it's like a really micro finesse jig, and it's adding just that kind of dice-shaped head to a Ned rig. So you could slide that on a Ned head and then put a little TRD or Duo Realis wriggle stick on the back of that. And on Mille Lacs and a lot of them smallmouth lakes, Mille Lacs is where I had quite a bit of success with it earlier, but I'm glad you got them back in stock. They're really hard to find, and this is definitely a color I kind of don't want to leave tonight without grabbing.
Is that the same one that Fighter collected?
Yeah, pros are
the one,
eating these up, and nobody. Yeah,
can't remember if
it's
that was
on
for
the low.
Yeah.
Of course we can. Why not?
Okay, say it.
Well, Easton was in here at 3:00 this afternoon, and he's
Talked to him on the phone on the way here.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm on my way to Waypoint. He's like, I just left there.
Yeah.
Him and Dumpke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's always fun when two hammers walk in. So.
Yeah. He told me a few things he walked out with, but yeah.
That's some good stuff.
These probably won't be here very long. I don't know if they'll be here by the time this podcast airs, unless you got a bunch.
We always got more coming.
We always put them in the back for the podcast special. All they gotta do is come to the office and ask for the cool stuff, just like always.
You heard it from the man. So what's in these snackle boxes now? Who wants to present the first snack of the evening? I'll be happy to if we're shy.
Roscoe, you or me?
I'm curious what's in your maybe that middle compartment there.
He has everything out of a package, ready to go. Doesn't have to waste any time in except what is that?
What is that?
Those in the know. The Pocky.
The Pocky?
Pocky. It's
The Pocky sticks.
basically a little stick. It's like pretzel style, and then they got like little like creamer like coating on it. So I'll show you.
Oh my god! I played hockey as a kid, but I've never heard of Pocky.
Well, The funny thing about the Pocky is it's a delicacy from Japan, and
Really?
it's migrated its way to America. So they're getting more and more popular. But they're like everywhere in Japan.
Full of it today. Oh my God. You are dialed today, Mr. Gaffron. Mr. Basternot.
We had to bring our A game today. So this is a Pocky. It's basically a little pretzel stick, but it's got cookie and cream coating. Go ahead. Everyone's gonna get a Pocky.
That's like the almond bark pretzels your grandmother makes for Thanksgiving. Thank you,
I don't
Jeff.
know how the alien's gonna eat the Pocky.
Pocky? This is, well played.
But he's still gonna get a Pocky. He'll figure it out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's what I said the first time I had one. They're delicious. So if you haven't had a Pocky before, let Teal tell you, you're missing out.
Where do you get these Pockies?
Well, today we actually, to make our snackle boxes, we ran up to the Jubilee down the street. But I think they're in Cub, Jubilee, probably.
Never even heard of
Any-
Jubilee.
Jubilee is I think the only one
In
that
Mound.
exists. And it's
Tonka
in
grocery
Mound.
store?
Yeah, it's the Mound grocery store. But we made a little run today and
Sounds like they're on your program.
got ourselves a little snackle box. So,
I love it.
so
There is one I see in there that is an absolute love of mine, and that's a damn Nutter Butter bite.
Mhm.
You ever had you a Nutter Butter? No?
I don't like the big ones. I prefer the minis.
Oh, okay.
he's real picky.
Like
More
small-
finesse.
We accept that though.
Spinning rod Nutter Butters, got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, that's fair, man. That's fair.
I've spent a lot of time hanging out with Jay in the morning because he works mornings, and I gotta go with the big one because we're both power fishermen. He likes a big jig. I like a big jig and a big swim bait, so I had to go full size.
I
Box
think
is
when
dialed.
you take a snack and you make it smaller, it automatically tastes better.
Would you like a mini Oreo?
My point exactly.
All right, sweet.
We got, all right,
Better
to
than the
fill out
original.
the box, we got vanilla Oreos. We got mini regular Oreos. We got Nutter Butters, and then I got a whole thing of goldfish.
You got a little salt in there.
Well,
I
you gotta
like
have a little
that.
salt. Gotta have a little fish flavor because it's a fishing podcast, right?
I'll be honest, that is a hell of a snackle box. One that,
And then we
I
went with the
can't tell.
Gangcraft box to
yeah, Ross.
JDM.
Let's see your snackle box.
I went with the
Let
engine
me see your
lures
snackle box.
from Japan. I went with that box because I like to keep my items in their original packaging, separated from each other. I don't want to blend the formulas and the flavors together.
You don't want the tails to get kinked.
No, I don't want anything to touch each other. Right?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I got you.
Everything's better in smaller sizes, right? Everything.
Yep, yep.
Smaller's better no matter what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
Let's actually test that a little bit. I'm curious.
Everything.
You
Want
can't
some
have
steak. Like
I-
a smaller steak.
smaller steak, Ross.
Yeah, because I can't finish a big one. So small one keeps it. Don't have to make it for leftovers the next day. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I mean, if you're not, gonna eat a big one, ordering a big one's wasteful.
Is a smaller ranch better than a big ranch? We're talking a horse farm here.
Less to deal with. Yeah. Less problems.
If you went down to Texas and you said smaller is better,
Mm-hmm.
He does live in
Would
the
they
exact
approve?
opposite of the country as Texas.
Mini Crunch bars. Not only better are they better when they're mini, they're better when you refrigerate them first. They're better in the fridge. They're better cold.
Cold Crunch.
Cold Crunch mini.
okay, I agree with
Cold
that.
Crunch combo.
Colder Crunch bars are better.
Mini Nilla wafers.
Oh fuck! I haven't had mini Nilla
so
wafers
much better.
since Nom.
They're way better than the original.
Really?
in
I
every
like the
way.
big ones,
Just-
so I can't imagine the middle.
Yes.
Oh yeah, man, this is taking me back to
Wow.
my mom liked Nilla wafers. That's about the last time I had them was probably when I was a kid. Oh my gosh, so many memories. When's the last time you've had one? Here.
Smaller is always better.
Just something about them. Smooth.
A core memory unlocked just now, for sure.
Mom's minivan on the way to the grocery store or Sam's Club.
Yeah.
She had a Nissan Quest. It was green and ugly. Anyway.
Core memory.
Well played on the no wafers, dude.
Yeah.
What else you got in that box of goodies?
Yeah.
Mini Ritz Bits with cheese.
Ooh.
Also a family staple.
Yeah. But mini. And better than the peanut butter ones. I don't like the peanut butter ones.
He's starting to make a really good point about this whole mini being better.
I'm starting to feel 12 and I love it.
It's the best.
I love it, dude. Those, I love those. And I still love them. Here. All right, so we got 3 for us in this Arsenal snackle bag. It'll fit a ton of snacks. That's why I like it. First, we have Club cheddar sandwich crackers made with real cheese, no high fructose corn syrup. This is always a staple for me at the gas station because I don't have a lot of money, and these are cheap and good. Fruit snacks. Can't beat fruit snacks. The Welch's ones, if you're looking for a good fruit snack, try them all. Welch's is where it's at. Unless you're getting some fruit gushers. Also a childhood staple.
I second that.
Oh, you got gushers too in there?
But
Here, get you some gushers.
They've got to be strawberry. They've got to be
Oh my
tropical.
God.
Get you some fruit snacks. Get you some.
Tropical's
You
the
can have-
only right
That's what
answer.
I got.
And the strawberry ones,
They're okay.
no.
I
They're
gotta
okay.
admit, I love that we all brought like straight fire for our snackle boxes. here.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll be honest.
like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say no to any of these offerings.
Dane hasn't butchered
Oh, and
his
he's
snackle
got
box
Pockies
yet.
too.
And are these all snacks that you guys bring in the boat typically?
Yes.
I don't normally bring Pockies, but Goldfish, Nutter Butters, and Oreos have made it in the boat many, many times.
Maybe this is where I'm going wrong in the boat because you guys, I don't think I've ever had any of these snacks in my boat. If you ask Mr. Teal, it's usually a bacon cheeseburger with fries in the boat, or chicken breast or pulled pork ribs. I have a 3-course meal in my boat at all
Do you
times.
have like a Traeger in your back compartment or
You-
something?
like
That's a
when
great
when
idea,
Ross
by
is
the way.
over here saying like smaller is better, I'm like, oh man, maybe that's where I'm going wrong, boys, because
Quantity.
I have nothing but the biggest and probably
to
highest
be
fat
fair,
content
like,
meals.
If you get steak at a restaurant the night before a tournament and you got cold steak in the boat, it's pretty baller.
Oh yeah.
Now we got
Oh, wings, everything. It's all
Green
it's,
Bucket
it's
Head
all
over
in the boat.
here. He's about to start shredding on guitar. Thank you, Dane. I think Teal gets the reference, but he's just living in the moment right now.
I'm a zombie, dude.
It's
Dude,
working.
I'm just still mind blown by them Pockies. That, I think, is snack of the day.
Try an
Just
original.
because of the uniqueness.
Yeah, it's
Do
the
you think
original
I could
Pocky.
eat a Pocky through my...
Not quite.
This is just an S show. Trick or treat. So, who's been fishing lately? What's going down? We got fall conditions.
It's been about
I've been catching them.
a week and a half since I've been out, but last time we were out was for the Lakeville high school tournament, or at least I was out. I don't think you've been out since then, but they're still deep. It was weird.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I caught them in a summer pattern. It's October. That's weird.
It seems to depend on the lake, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this too, but it seems like if you go to a lake right now and the grass is like dead, not alive, they're using hardcover, rock, wood, docks, things like that. But if you've got a lake that's got some alive grass that's putting out oxygen, it's like you can't catch them on some of that stuff. And that's what I've been noticing, and that's been kind of the, I guess it hasn't been super challenging. Fishing's been pretty good lately, but I would say the biggest kind of little thing for us to figure out is, where they're at, because it definitely seems like water temperature and kind of all that changing is definitely putting them somewhere. I mean, it's just a matter of, we have so many different lakes and stuff like that in Minnesota here that I think you get a lot of diversity this time of year, you know, during that transition. And I guess I'm seeing it on some lakes where one lake I'll go and I'm catching them on a big jig and a tube on that outside grass edge, and you got a live coontail yet, kind of stained water, and not catching them really that good on the rocks or wood or real shallow, but kind of like, you know, 10, 12.
Yep.
10,
Absolutely.
12. 6 to 14's kind of been my magic number
Yeah.
there. But then you go to another lake and it's like, oh, they're on the bank. Or you go to another lake, it's like, they're nowhere. This sucks. And then you go to a rock pile and bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
But I think this later fall thing kind of, I think, spreads out that bite window. And like that really good fall fishing is, you know, it's snowing end of October, right? And it stays getting cold. And then you have like this 3-week window that's epic. But we have that same window. It's just,
It
seems like it's like further out, like spread out. Like you're not getting 50 bites a day. You're getting 20 a day, but you get to go that many more days, you know, or whatever. I don't know. What have you noticed, Dane?
Everything you said pretty much spot on. What I don't think you answered though is, what are you catching them on? What are you throwing? What's your go-to for searching in some of these bodies of water? Because like you said, some of these lakes, the fish are on the bank, some of them are on the weeds, some are on the grass. So what's your like top 4 setups that you're throwing? Line, lure, rod, how are you doing it?
So largemouth, I guess, search bait wise, it's been a combination of a chatterbait, a spinnerbait, bellows gill swimmer, swim jig, and a hair jig. Northland Minnesota mullet. But it really depends on the lake on which one of those search baits is the deal, and kind of how I do that is based on the depth I'm fishing. It seems like if you get a lot of wind, that chatterbait bite is on fire right now for largemouth, and a lot of guys would say smallmouth too. I don't do it as much, but and then as far as slower baits, I've been getting bit on like a bigger profile jig. Just picked up that big rig Dane makes, and like I'm a full-on believer in that, and it was a rod that, you know, I wanted to grab. It's just it hadn't yet, and spooled it up with 22-pound fluorocarbon and a big jig, and I haven't lost the bass on it, and just had a few over 6 this past Friday.
That's a Ron Mayer rod?
That's the Mayer Signature Series, and there's something magic about that rod, and it's kind of a sleeper rod. You put a reel on that rod, it's about perfect, whether you're flipping something with braid or fluorocarbon. So that's been kind of my, and I think it'd be a good, I mean, any type of flipping, you know, 3/8 to an ounce, it's money.
Yeah.
And then a tube on the Puppet Master when they're on the edge of something or on that harder bottom, that you know, a 1/2 ounce Goby tube, the Magnum one, with a bigger June bug tube for largemouth. I'm just stroking it.
What are you seeing for water temp? What are you seeing for water temps around? I know this is going to be a Halloween edition here, and we're going to be a
51 to 50, you know, 7, 58 is what I'm seeing, depending on the lake. It seems like those, but mid 50s still.
Yeah.
So, and then the other slow bait's scat that I've been catching them on. So
Yeah.
it's just jig, tube, scat. Been kind of my best 3 slower fishing producers, and then you know, all on bait caster, and swim bait, chatterbait probably been my top 2 moving baits, and spinner bait.
Ross, is there a favorite bait that you like to throw this time of year when you're covering new water?
He already said it, that scat. But this time of year, I'm throwing the 4-inch with a skirt on it. And we talked about that a little the last one, but right, I upsize it to a 4-inch, and you can literally bomb cast that thing down the bank and make a bunch of really precise casts and get in those areas where they've removed boat docks, and
It's been confirmed. Aliens from another planet have landed on Earth. Sources say there's been 2 confirmed landing points for these extraterrestrial beings, one being Japan, and also, unexpectedly, in Minnesota at Waypoint Angler Supply, a local tackle shop on Lake Minnetonka. With the ever-expanding universe, it's no surprise that there are other planets out there that also share our love for the sport of bass fishing. And to Earth's surprise, this latest visit came from extraterrestrial fishermen light years away and many innovations ahead when it comes to fishing equipment. Some hypothesize these beings came from the planet of Naboo, matching up with Mayan folklore dating back thousands of years with fishing equipment ahead of their time. It has been confirmed they left things never seen before by an Earth-born bass. Waypoint Angler Supply is the premier space station in the bass galaxy and has tackle that could previously only be found in Japan or the planet of Naboo. The Waypoint ship is full, but we don't know when the astronauts from Naboo will be back. So hurry in to Waypoint Angler Supply today and stock up on that Area 51 Planet of Naboo JDM good before your buddy is whooping that sweet ass of yours. Stop into their store on Lake Minnetonka or visit their website, waypointanglersupply.com. That's waypointanglersupply.com. Use the code GALAXY2403.
Do you trailer your big outboard? Then you need the MyWedge motor support. MyWedge keeps even the heaviest motors safe and secure on the trailer. And talk about easy. Up with the motor, on with the MyWedge, back down and ready to roll. And MyWedge is built to last. It won't rot, it won't split, it won't fail. Guaranteed. Pop on MyWedge centering clips for lateral stability and you're good to go. MyWedge, security in a snap. To order yours, go to mywedge.com.
They're sitting in those clumps of lively green weeds I've found. Bomb casting that thing around, and it's getting the bigger bites of those roaming fish that had a home and then their home got pulled away from them. That's probably the number one thing I've been doing.
So you're just because that's something I noticed. Those clumps or the docks get removed, and I'm like, well, this should be on all the docks that are still in the water. And I kept them okay down that line, but not as good as I felt like I should have. So I guess what are you keying in on there? Because I've noticed you have obviously a clean spot where those docks were. Is that kind of what you're targeting? Is the edge of that, or
right in the thick of it? It's big, beautiful green clumps but it's got to be like straight coontail or straight milfoil. None of that eelgrass and that stuff mixed in. No, that's that new starry stonewort that's been out here. That's gross. It's clean, beautiful green stuff.
That's what I've noticed too. If you can find the green stuff,
they're
in it.
Like clear water too. I've noticed. I'm not throwing it a lot in dirt. It's kind of clean water. That big bait for some reason I've noticed. So
I haven't been fishing a ton of clean water lately. I've been kind of doing the dirty water largemouth thing.
Yeah, same. And to go back onto the weed conversation that you both are talking about, I'm throwing swim jigs and chatterbaits right through the thickest grass and through that stuff up in shallow water out to 4 to 6 feet. But I'm throwing it on like a 7.6 heavy. The chicken rod that I throw, I'll transition over to braid so I can rip the chatterbait through the grass real good. And then I've really become a big believer in that Arsenal Sniper swim jig on a heavier rod. Even though it has a lighter wire hook, Gaff, you and I were talking about that, I can still jack them on 17-pound fluorocarbon with a 7.6 heavy and rip them through the grass pretty darn good. That's become a go-to bait when I'm searching these bodies of water, especially if I'm on the calm side.
Something to that round rubber, I think, especially when the water gets cold. And a lot of people would argue when it's warm, are you throwing quarter or 3/8 mostly?
I love me some 3/8. I'll change the trailer to help with buoyancy or resistance when I'm pulling it back to get it to hover higher or lower in the water column. and I'll play with my line diameter a little bit, but really that like 17-pound fluorocarbon is pretty juicy on that thing. You're just right up on shore and just plug it right back through. And I've been pulling 4.5 to 5.5 pound largemouth out without folding over any hooks or bending anything back, and haven't lost any big bites. I've been just real confident with that setup.
Hell yeah.
Big time. And I'm not known as a swim jig guy, but that has been a fun play for me this fall.
Yeah. What have you been what have you been noticing when you've been out?
When I'm going, especially like lately, it seems like you gotta go with the biggest profile thing, which is my favorite thing to do anyways. So I'm excited anytime I get to go this time of year. But like, I'll echo the swim jig, although I go with a 1/2 ounce. I like the Untamed. What's it called? I'm blanking on the model. The Punisher. Yeah. So the bigger swim jig. And then I'll find the biggest trailer I can get. I was talking to you earlier about the Raid Full Swing. I like that.
I like that full swing.
Gambler, I think it's the Easy Swimmer. It's the big Gambler one. It's like a 4.5 inch, and it's got that hinge in the middle, and that thing seems to kick really good.
Big Easy, right?
Pretty easy.
Is it called a Big Easy?
Yeah.
Big Easy, yeah, that's what it is.
Easy. Dane likes that one.
I like that. But then I mix in a spinnerbait quite a bit this time of year. 1/2 ounce spinnerbait. I like the double Colorado with little gold. Sometimes I've also gone the Colorado with the singular little orange blade. Especially if you're like, when we did the fall brawl and rush, I didn't fish it this year, but when I go to fish that event, they got a little more dinge to the water there, so I'll do that. But like, fall used to be a time I struggled with a lot, and it was because I wasn't throwing big enough stuff. In the bigger stuff I like started throwing, the more bites I would get. I didn't understand it at first, but now I understand that the forage has grown that time of year, and they're keying in on big baits and big meals so they can feed up before winter. And the second I like got that to click in my head, I saw the switch. I saw like big jig came into play, bigger swim bait like mag draft style. I like the Devil Swimmer a lot. We've got a couple of those.
That's gonna be
that thing's money.
I think as soon as it gets below, like, that to me is going to be money as soon as it, probably around Halloween, when it gets to 49 degree water temps.
Yeah. That big profile swim jig, like I said, and anything with thump. Like, if it can put out, and crankbaits come into play too this time of year. Like, I've got buddies who are going to the river, they're catching them on a square bill.
Oh, yeah.
Because that plays so much there. And, like, when I go to Grand in a couple weeks, I'll have a square bill tied on, because that's just what you do. I mean, you gotta make some noise. You gotta bang around and get attention.
Northland?
Do you guys have
throw on some Northland?
Do you have some
formerly Bagley? Yeah.
Love those baits.
That's
B2.
the deal this time of year.
Yeah.
If you're fishing the river, if you're fishing, anywhere with hardcover, ripping it off grass, banging it into wood, they're gonna eat it.
This bait,
that balsa gets good in the
so
fall.
Day one of the lacrosse open, I got paired with Ty Ow, and
sure.
Ty was throwing a big swim bait, and I went, all right, I gotta do something behind him that's gonna get different bites than him, and I tied on a Bagley. I think it was actually B1, but this is a B2, and just started chucking crankbait and burning it. And there's these little ledges. They're not current related. Like in Black Lake, they have them. It's off the bank, and then they dart down. So you throw on the top of the ledge, like very similar to like how you would back in the day on Kentucky Lake, how those guys would fish a ledge with a deep crank. You're throwing it up to like 2 feet, and the second it hits the wall where it drops to 5 to 6, that's where those fish will sit. So like, I was just chucking a crankbait behind them, and the second I'd see a like flat spot that dropped, I'd just chuck up there and crank, and that's how I caught my 2 biggest fish that day, on a Bagley, of course. Now Northland, but like little square bill, like as you get past like mid-August, it's so underrated. Like, there's not enough guys throwing it this time of year. Not gonna
especially Minnesota guys, and it's kind of been a sleeper deal for a while. But if you can figure out some magic with a crankbait, I mean, let's take one of the guys who won some of the most money in the state, Mark Raveling. I mean, there's a lot of sneaky stuff to be found on a crankbait.
Like, we've talked to Jay before.
Oh yeah,
And
Jay Carlson, totally.
I mean, I hadn't touched a crankbait very much in the last 2 years, and he started talking about ripping crankbaits out here, and I'm like, maybe not that application, but I should probably mix some cranks back in. And they're just getting overlooked because everyone's scoping. They're still going to catch fish on it.
Have you played around with the new the OSP metal bladed jig? The metal blade, that new vibrating jig they came out with in September?
Mm-mm.
We got those
I've been
coming.
looking at it.
Yeah, it's got that kind of umbrella shaped blade on it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing around with that lately, and it's got as far as like ripping through the weeds and not getting hung up, that's probably the best one I've found for that, for this time of year when we're throwing in that thick stuff like we're talking about.
Or that dead grass that
Yeah.
sticks to your stuff.
And like staying kind of like that bass puzzle where it stays up and down, stays upright and true.
Sure.
It doesn't fall over, and it's a really cool jig.
You got those coming?
Should be a few days when this airs, we'll have them. Yeah,
Heck yeah.
for sure. I just
I'd be curious to try those.
yeah, I just didn't know if you had messed around with them because they're super cool.
I've been looking hard at
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
OSP does a lot of really cool stuff, I'm
Oh
noticing.
my god.
Have you seen their little swim bait? Like the 4.5 incher?
Glide or?
It's the Do Live swim bait.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a couple of them.
You play with it?
I haven't, but Kylie, you know Kylie through social media. I think you've met him before.
Oh yeah.
One of our part-timers, for those of you who don't know Kylie. Kylie, he does this stuff where he'll buy one pack of something, and if it's good, he'll be in the same day or the next day, and he'll buy the rest of them. Well, he bought out a couple colors of those OSP swim baits. We still got a bunch of them for those of you who want them, but like, I asked him, I'm like, are those the real deal? Because I'm always looking for the next swim bait.
What's he rigging them up on?
I think he was rigging them on like a Untamed style head.
Because
they
roll like stupid.
Well, I'm
When they
thinking
rock.
we were talking about swim jigs. If you know, who are the guys who are really good from out in California, who do the YouTube?
Tactical bassin?
Yeah, Tactical Bassin. I don't know how I blanked on that. They talk a lot about swim jigging. And one of the things they talk about, so if you're from the South, you know about the Alabama Shake, or you've heard about it. They talk about pairing your trailers to get the action out of your swim jig. Mm-hmm. So instead of getting your action out of your rod tip or shaking your rod or whatever on your retrieve, they talk about selecting trailers that make your jig roll and shake. And I adopted that methodology early on in my tournament fishing and didn't realize that they were doing it until later. And it made sense to all the things I was talking about and doing. But this is basically what they're talking about, is baits like this OSP swim bait. It gets more kick and roll. So instead of having to impart action as you retrieve a bait, you can just crank it in and it'll do its thing and it'll elicit bites because it's just so erratic as it is. And Kylie said that thing is crazy. It's super erratic, rolls a lot.
You got a stapler? I don't need it.
Yeah, we got a stapler.
This one is just like
Yeah, go for it.
the swim baits that we were talking about earlier before we started recording. What were those again?
Those
In
were the
back?
full impacts.
The full swings.
Full swings from Raid.
Yep.
Which
have
love
a
that.
very
I love that.
They have a very similar profile as far as like a wide flat top.
This reminds me of a spark shad with less stability.
Ooh.
You probably get what I mean by saying that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
spark shad has
I was-
them little wings on it.
I know, and I was looking at these for a swim jig trailer. Golly.
Felt that.
You just realized you had a little come to Jesus moment in you. But
Yeah, those are dirty.
Sick too.
it's the same concept of when like you're shaking a minnow, you want a round head jig because it shakes more because of the roll.
Yeah.
This has a round body, it's gonna roll more. Whereas a spark shad's got those little wings on the side that keeps it flat,
Yeah.
which is fine. I love a spark shad. I throw it a lot.
Yeah, spark shad's kind of a shimmy roll.
Yep, it's more subtle.
Yep. Versus
Just like a
you-
Reaction Innovations.
I would
Yep.
say a Reaction Innovation's a pretty heavy roll. in my mind.
Yeah, they got a lot of
Like-
tail.
A lot of tail, but like makes my jig do that.
And I love throwing the
it's
reaction
round.
innovation
Yeah.
on Arsenal's sniper swim jig.
I
That was
mean-
my favorite one, but I want to try this do live.
That
for
raid
sure.
full swing is by far my favorite
swim jig
swim
trailer.
jig trailer, and then a skinny dipper would be
Yeah.
probably second, and then that X Zone mini swammer, I like that one too.
That's a good trailer too.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of roll and thump on that one
Yep.
too.
And then that Bariki shad. Actually,
Yeah.
kind of like that Gancraft Bariki shad, real cold water.
Yeah, you were
It's like
throwing that
pure
just
roll.
on a weighted EWG, right?
Yep. That thing's got some of the best head wiggle I've ever seen. Like
yeah, that thing's sick.
as long as you rig it right, that like I put it on a screw lock, so that hook point acts as like a pivot point, so the head can wiggle this way and the tail can wiggle, with it. So it's like it looks like a fish swimming, like legitimately. We were out on a lake fishing shallow, and we could see it the whole way back, and we both looked at it and went, dude, that's one of the better ones we've seen.
Yeah, you don't know until you can't look at a bait in the package and know that it's gonna do that.
No.
Especially swim baits.
Yeah, it's hard to.
That's why I pulled it out so I could see the tail wag and kind of the shape.
Yeah.
It's cool though. You can look online. There's like some cool videos of. I mean, sometimes if you find the right underwater videos, you can kind of weed out some of that.
Yeah.
Where they'll show them swimming and kind of how it acts. But that Do Live Shad, okay, I might need to give that one a shot because
I think you like that one.
it's sexy. I feel like you get a real dirty waterfall lake, this purple shimmery one. Remember
Yep.
Mars? That
Yes.
little lake we went to?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that
Yeah.
lake, this would be
That would be
probably
perfect.
pretty good.
River.
River.
I have a little bag going for nationals, and there's 2 packs of those in there for nationals.
Manwo.
It reminded me like a Morning Dawn. That's why I ordered that one in. I love
It's-
a Morning Dawn on the back of a swim jig. I just love it.
Well, Dane and I have noticed something
That's some sneaky
with
stuff right
swim
there.
baits and minnow colors on certain lakes, and we're gonna leave which lakes out of it, but certain lakes, Dane I think figured it out, but we definitely duplicated it.
I believe it was a missile baits at the time.
Well,
when we were.
I'm thinking leech, or
Yeah.
so I figured it out on a tube, and Dane figured it out on a swim bait.
Yeah.
Just like, and you try not to get too cute with color, right? But with smallmouth, there's times where they want a fucking disco ball, or they want a lot of flake. And there's sometimes where they don't want a lot of flake, but
Yep.
when they want a lot of flake and you can get keyed in onto it, it seems like when they get on that, it's a tougher bite.
Yeah.
But Mille Lacs,
But if you nail it, it's the best
Can
bite
be-
you've been on ever.
totally.
Totally.
So like, mixing up, if you're struggling for smallmouth during the day on a swim bait or a tube or whatever soft bait you're throwing, hard bait even, mixing in how much flash you're putting in or how much flake has made a difference for us, like key difference. And kind of like that Pro Blue can be magic on a cloudy day. No flake.
Bro,
bright
and you
shimmer,
forget to
Pro Blue,
mention
money.
The jig head that you're throwing it on has
If we're
almost the same impact as that flash.
If we're talking about a tube and a swim bait, yeah. Or a jig head minnow. That's kind of what's been people been unlocking over last year, and there's different ways to do it. What you figured out with that 60-degree line tie, flat eye on a swim bait, the right swim bait,
Yep,
was magical.
that was pretty cool.
And you don't need to say what head it is, but a 60-degree flat eye,
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty hard to find.
yeah.
But it makes a hell of a difference. Same with the tube jig.
Oh, man.
That's what creates that spiral fall with that disco ball.
Yep.
Spiral fall, disco ball.
All the secrets.
I think, what's crazy to me was watching Peener this past weekend.
Battle of the Hogs, baby.
Yeah.
Dude, tell us about that, because
Wreck 'em on a Helter Twister.
You clearly got one on that. At least one. It looked like 2 or 3.
He caught 10 plus on it.
Oh,
Each boat did, we had
That's
that
They had the
one.
awesome.
Hyper 7.
Yep.
Peener had the Helter Twister.
Yep.
It's such a shame about BioVex, but these Helter Twisters are gonna have a while.
Low key.
I'll take one.
Yeah, I need one.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. What am I gonna try now? Dane, what do you want to try?
Yeah. The gold or peach. I haven't tried the peach yet.
We got light gold, peach, lime, or raz. There's also a raspberry one. Ross. Do you want to
Thank you, Mr. Kellermeier. So, Battle of the Hogs. What we do is we have 3 guys in each boat, and for 2 days we fish a few different lakes in that Ottertail County area. And we had a deal between the boats. It was which boat caught the most bass on the Helter Twister and the
Hyper 7.
The
Hyper
Hyper
7
7.
from BioVex.
BioVex.
Yep.
Yep. And we were, dude, it was the right water temp. They were up
Shiners were
shallower.
doing the
And
deal.
yeah, and those
Awesome.
man, I've never seen. So these guys fish like once or twice, a few times a year, right?
They're not fishing derbies.
No, they're not fishing derbies. And watching them cast out on some custom rods and just load up on aggressive 3 to 4.5 pound largemouth was just a blast.
It's fun to see that, like, from your buddies and stuff, because, like, we do get jaded to it. I think we all do. I mean, I've definitely lost the luster of catching 3-pound fish just for fun fishing. Don't get me wrong, 4-plusers still get me excited, but, like, they're probably getting hyped on 2.5, 3-pounders.
For sure.
It's so sick
For
to watch
sure.
your buddy just get hyped on that type of stuff. Like, oh, that's right. It's still
To
that
catch
fun.
a dozen, 15 bass themselves in a boat with 3 guys, and we're catching 40, 50, 60, 70 fish amongst a group of guys fishing not that hard.
Yeah.
That's like epic day for them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get jaded to it, like I said, but there's guys out there who, like, they would kill for a 5-fish day or a 10-fish day, and we forget about it all the time because we're used to it. Like, I mean, we'll go fun fishing or filming, and we'll catch 5. Even if one's a good one, we'll be like,
We
God,
scrap
that,
the whole video.
we're like, that was a whole waste of time. That was a terrible time. And then I talk to my buddies down south sometimes, and they're like, man, I had a great day. I'm like, oh, how'd you do? Oh, I caught 8 fish. Shit, that's like one of the worst days I've had on Tonka in
Yeah.
the last 2 years. Like if I don't catch 30 fish, I feel like everyone's catching way more than me usually. So like, it's cool to kind of be reminded, like, hey, we got it pretty good and we got it pretty figured out compared to a lot of people. Like, all of us do.
I think it should be documented more amongst guys like ourselves that are on the water a lot more than the average person, just to help inform and entertain and teach certain things that we're doing. And I'd like to really dive into doing more live coverage with a couple people in the boat with wireless mics and doing 2 to 3 hour sessions on Lake X
Oh, that'd be cool.
and break down the lake, show what you're doing, throw some comedy in there.
Jay watched your entire live video with Teal.
Well, we were just, that was just kind of,
We had people coming in asking if we watched it, and Jay watched it.
which is so bizarre because Teal and I literally were just like, hey man, we should see how good the live footage off your phone works and just do it for 25 minutes and just see what happens with, like, hey, how can you document something that's not edited, that's real, and show people? And the first thing we notice is, okay, wireless mics, phone batteries, which ones work? Okay, got it set up. I needed a new phone with a different plug-in. I think the USB-C is the way to go versus the Lightning, but we're going to have to do a few more little intentional live updates on the water here. It'd be fun to get you guys in the boat and fish kind of raw, but
yeah, we enjoy that.
advertised what we're throwing. Show people actually what we're doing with zero editing.
Yeah, that'd be
Just
fun.
go.
I mean, you're gonna definitely see me do some stupid shit.
Well, the wind is the goofy part, is you don't know how the wind is going to be, and you don't know if you're going to catch any. But hey, man, I'm totally cool with being out in the open and showing people what I'm actually doing.
Same. I just don't want them to see what lake I'm doing it at.
You don't have to.
I know, but like when you just have it fixed there,
Yeah.
it doesn't take much.
Well, some of the lakes that we're fishing though are so.
You could point the camera upwards so that you have so you can see my dick in the sky.
Well, you know that we could figure that out. I can angle that. I can angle that camera on that. I bought one of those DJI self-leveling stabilized trap deal with for the phone, and then I bought the wireless microphones and everything that plug in, so you can go two-way, and me and Teal can set up in the front of the boat, and we could do live footage for as long as the mic is going. And once the mic dies, you just pull one out and throw it in the charger. But yeah, we got to do it. I think it's going to be a huge thing for the Champions Tour next year to get in and do a little bit more of that too, to really showcase what some of the sponsors have provided and what the anglers are using.
Are you saying I should do Facebook Live with Easton Fothergill tomorrow? All day?
Heck yeah. I'm saying do it.
I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, if I was in the boat with Easton tomorrow, I'd say, hey, buddy, we're going to do some live stuff. We can decide when we're going to turn it on, but you get on the water and start fishing, and when you feel like you're approaching something, you just record it. Let the world see it. All natural.
Camera hates me. Sometimes. Some days.
Nah. What are you talking about?
Break that curse.
We shot the Where Does Bass with you, and you were great.
I know.
Cut the crap out of them.
We all cut we only caught one big one. Like, I just got lucky and caught one big one.
You caught a few
but
other ones, though, to go with it. Did some cool stuff with the dice.
It depends on the day, you know.
You need to be on the water with the camera running more.
Yes, Dad.
With how much you
it's true.
Experience on the water.
If I could have had a camera boat in the water Friday with Todd, it was insane.
Yeah. So this weekend?
Back in like 2008 to 2010-ish, you used to have YouTube, right?
Yeah. Aaron's Fish Factory.
How did you film those? Did you have a guy filming with you or what?
My dad.
That's awesome. I watched those as a kid. I don't know if you know that.
I don't.
When,
it means a lot. Wow.
Like, we met officially in college, and I never told you that, but like when I was in high school, I saw your YouTube and stuff. Like, you were one of the OGs on YouTube for a hot minute there.
I was early, and I should
have kept it going, Teal.
For sure. Well, I'm paying the price now.
With all due respect to the guys who became the Guggen Squad, I would have watched so much Teal video content if you would have kept it going.
Basically like the Napster guy of YouTube.
Unreal.
Teal, we had 1.7 thousand plays.
What did?
Our video just screwing off, not even really doing anything, just experimenting with live.
That's why there were so many guys coming in saying they watched it and asked if I watched it.
Just random.
Yeah.
Random.
Them even?
I think we documented 1 or 2 catches.
It was awful till we turned the camera off. Then we blasted them.
Yes,
you know what
because
I
the phone
I
died.
don't want to waste a day.
But they watched the entire thing. Like
It's true.
Yeah.
They watched us not catching them.
The other thing is, like, you have a track record of catching them when it counts. So even if on that video you didn't quite succeed, they're still looking to see what you're doing because they want to even get just a tidbit of information for themselves.
That's fair. That's fair.
And if, in my opinion, if you're looking for an edge in the industry to do something different than what everyone else is doing, that is it. And I'm calling that right now.
I don't know, man. I think
That's what they said about YouTube videos.
I don't know.
That's what they said about podcasts.
Again, without Pockies. I like these.
You are a man of snacks. But again,
I'm a grazer.
But
I'm
if
a grazer.
Yes, and how many times have you pulled off of the lake, pulled your boat onto the ramp? I already have the grill on the asphalt going with brats and burgers as you pull out of the water, and I'm just like on my third burger, like, Teal, dinner's ready. We're eating good.
Oh, and
I can't do the small snack thing. It doesn't fulfill me.
It's not that I'll still eat a burger or 2 burgers.
Yeah.
But I ain't getting off the water for them.
No.
I ain't getting off the water early for burgers. No. I'll eat Pockies till I'll survive on Pockies if I have to.
They are pretty good. I'm surprised my daughter hasn't told me about those Pockies.
I think you can only get them at Jubilee.
No. You can get them at Cub. I've seen them at a Cub.
You know those little half egg shaped little things that you scoop the frosting out of that are kind of Japanese?
Hey guys, Aaron Teal here with Vocelka Fishing and Customs here, and excited to talk to you about my new signature series rod, the Puppet Master. My number one confidence technique is by far offshore power finesse fishing, so we've spent a lot of time and a lot of years creating the perfect bottom contact power finesse rod, specifically designed to fish 3/8 to 3/4 ounce football jigs, tubes, swing heads, dragging a swim bait on the bottom, and any bait that you need to manipulate with your hand and land that fish. This rod is perfect for it. The big thing that we found that was an issue with other rods is they were either too crisp and sensitive, where they were too fast, or they weren't quite sensitive enough and they had the right action. So what Dane built with this rod is the most sensitive bottom contact rod I've ever held in my hands. But the big thing is, on a long cast, it's got the power to drive that hook home, but more importantly, it's got a parabolic action that's going to bend deep down in the rod to make sure that, let's say, football jig or goby tube isn't popping that smallmouth's mouth open and keeping that bait in the back of their head where it belongs, allowing you to have increased leverage and landing more bass. You're going to have to pry this rod from my cold dead hands. This is the Puppet Master. You can find it on VocelkaFishing.com or at Waypoint Angler Supply. Check them out. Most tournament anglers and guides are not covered fully or properly. Most insurance policies don't cover exposure due to tournaments and guiding. Taking the chance of using the wrong insurance gives the insurance company an out when settling a claim. How will the insurance company know that you're fishing tournaments or guiding? Well, social media is their number one resource. And guess what? They use it. Lake Country Insurance offers one of the only products that can cover both tournament and guiding use in your vessel. Anglers don't seem to hesitate spending $50,000 to $100,000 for a boat. Why risk that large asset, all because you wanted to save a few extra shekels? Are you nuts? Call the folks at Lake Country Insurance today and make sure you have the proper coverage for your boat before the unexpected happens. Call 612-285-3113 today or visit their website, lcisagency.com. That's lcisagency.com.
These looking deals.
Are we talking about Dunkaroos right now?
No.
Not
That's the
Dunkaroos.
Americanized ones from like
Dunkaroos
our
are-
childhood.
I should have brought Dunkaroos.
Dunkaroos are dank. Eh?
What were those little
What?
like?
What's a Dunkaroo?
It's a circular, half sphere, delicious cookie that you literally take and you dip it in this
Frosting?
scrumptious, unbelievably just perfection of frosting with the colors of the rainbow in sprinkles.
Yo, high key,
And
you
it's-
can still get Dunkaroos.
Sounds
you can
magic.
still get 'em. You
Oh
can get 'em
my
on-
god, I've never had those.
I've ordered them on Amazon.
I've maybe had them before, but my
Yeah.
god,
Dunkaroos.
looks like diabetes, but I'll still eat it.
You can
Looks
get them on
amazing.
Amazon.
I got a box of diabetes right here. Who
I
cares?
mean, I brought a bag of diabetes tonight. We're good.
What is this?
This, well, we were just talking about the water temps being, mid 50s, and, I was walking by and I noticed a pretty gangster looking at, what do they call this? A-rig?
Umbrella rig.
Umbrella rig? Bamarama rig?
You throw the one with that see-through plastic.
Yeah, this got like a fluorocarbon arm on it. I think it probably come through grass a little better and have a little more flex or breathing element to it. Like smallmouth, when you get 52-degree water temps, I mean, it's that's A-rig. There's like a magic window between like 50 and 55 degrees for this thing, and that's like, I don't catch them very often, but when I do, it's between 50 and 55 degrees. But there's guys who swear by this thing all fall. But I'll show the camera quick.
Yeah, that thing is dirty.
That one or
Is
the
that-
Only got 2 of them.
Is that the?
that one or the G-Crack Stealth 5?
I can't remember which one.
You have other areas here?
Scattered everywhere.
I can't remember which one you were throwing. That had the clear arm. Was that one that you
No,
were
I
throwing?
said
before?
Tornado Innovations, but I like the looks of that one. I like the blade size on that one.
I'm curious to know if you've thrown a couple of these.
It's always fun when Ross goes and hunts something down at the store.
Hayden Anderson has thrown that luster blade from Jackal. That thing that locks.
Oktoberfest or lager better?
I think we're literally the only
No.
one in the country who
It's a
has
tough
these.
call. They're definitely
I
different
was
from
curious
each
about
other.
that one.
But I
Yeah,
like them both for
Hayden.
different
I know
reasons.
Hayden walked out with that.
I think
for
I'm
one
liking
day.
the lager more right now.
Really?
But this is definitely one of the better October.
I have that one.
that I've had. I remember you saying that on.
Oh, that's yeah.
was
yeah.
that a podcast? That you
I
said that on?
have 2 of those Stealth 5s.
See, I think the thing we're going to see coming next with the A-Rig is strolling minnows behind it.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what this one's designed to do. Is shake ball heads and the stealth. So that's, I think, something we should talk about, because I think that's the sneaky little deal coming on the scene that's coming from Japan is shake, like instead of strolling one minnow, strolling a school of minnows.
Have you seen what they do with this one?
No.
So I've seen some video in Japan, and he'll put like a jerk bait on it, like a Vision 110, and they'll twitch it, like just normal jerk baiting. But because of the blades, it doesn't fall as quick, so it doesn't drag it down quite as much. You still got to keep it moving, but they're like reeling it and just twitch, reel, twitch, reel, and then right when they get around cover, they'll just kind of hover it. It's crazy. I'll find some clips after we're done here and
That's
send them to you.
crazy.
But like, we were looking this up to learn more about it, and I'm like, that's cool, but I'm not doing that because I just don't. I can't wrap my mind around it, but I've seen the video of it. That's what they're doing.
I mean, I got a lake. I've taken you to it. That I feel like you put a jerk bait behind that thing. I've taken Dane to it too, and I feel like you could probably catch a pile of smallmouth right now on that.
Yeah. For sure.
It kind of makes me want to go there with Fothergill instead of green ones. But it's just the warming trend. It ain't right, man. The weather ain't right.
Trust you, guy.
It's
There's plenty of time to take this out to that honey.
From the looks of it.
Oh, dude, yeah. With the way the weather's been this year.
So if you're trying to do some crazy A-rig shit, this is the one. It's called the Jackal Luster Blade 185.
Do you have to be in clearer water to throw these?
I don't know what the gold blades, I feel like, stained dirty, like with how many gold blades are on there. I don't know. I think you... Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah, but
clear,
that's
it's not
tannic.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear, but it's not. Like, it's
I mean-
tannic, like you said, but like there's parts where it was dirty.
If you can catch them on a blade bait, you can catch them on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you catch them on a blade bait in dirty river, dirty water lakes. So if you want to do that luster blade, and then that schooling, shaking a strolling minnow school, G-Crack Stealth 5, like, oh my god, I want to do it so bad. And then you got this badass Stealth Lures one that, you put a few swim baits on and probably rip it through some dead grass, or, stroll some swim baits for some smallmouth. The window is now, folks. The window is now. You get them on A-rig much, Eric?
Not so much when I'm fishing largemouth, but smallmouth fishing, absolutely. I mean, I wasn't gonna let the secret out of the bag, but my 2 biggest fish on the last day of state this year were an A-rig, both A-rig fish. I mean, unfortunately, that's the reality of it. I would have loved to catch them on like a jig or something, but I won the tournament, so that's all that mattered. But like, it's one of those things where it's like I'll be honest. Up until that point, I had like 1 or 2 fish on an A-rig, but that tournament, I just knew the weather condition was right, the wind was right, the sun was right, and we just went after it. And I literally locked it in my hand this 3rd day and caught my 2 biggest fish on it. But I've been witness to many A-rig beatdowns. As you guys know, I fish with O'Connor. He loves an A-rig. I've been with other guys. Andy Nichols likes an A-rig. I fish with him sometimes, and he throws it. I really think it's such a good smallmouth tool. And there's probably somebody out there, probably Connor, who's listening to this right now, who's going to be like, Eric, why'd you say that? Like, there's so much nuance to it, guys. Like, it's not just chuck and wind. Like, I had to learn it. It took me probably 3 years of throwing it all the time to really figure out how to get some bites on the damn thing. But now I kind of, like, I see it, like, what I was doing wrong before. And, like, it's one of those things. Once it clicks, it's on. But it takes a little bit, because there are guys that, like, I'll talk to them still. They're like, I've thrown an A-rig for 5 years and I caught anything on it. And then there's guys who pick it up first time and catch them on it.
Well, Hunter Went almost won a boat on it a few years back up in Crosby. So, I mean...
Noah Schultz did.
Yep. Noah Schultz did went in Mille Lacs. Yep. Peters. Yeah.
Trout.
Yep. No, it's
I remember that one.
if you're a smallmouth fisherman, it's got to be in your arsenal. And I think there's guys who are really good with it. That, to your point, catch them all year.
Yep.
But kind of the known window is...
It's right now. Yeah, 100% like this from now till...
Eric doesn't want you to throw it all year, but he might let you throw it
Yeah, I might.
this weekend.
You should probably go throw it right now if you haven't.
If you guys want to eat, we should eat some pizza before I get gut rot from these snackle boxes.
What do you want?
Quick pizza break.
Pizza break.
You're my rod builder.
So wild.
I don't know who else I would send it to.
I guess any kind of telescopic rod.
I really want like one of them.
Twist and lock.
No, I want to bring like a little bait caster with me, like a little BFS with me, all the time, with a little telescoping rod with a little baby scat permanently tied on it, and just carry it with me no matter where I go, and and it's like tied on, you know, so you just open the thing, put
Flip
your
it
thumb
in.
on it,
Yep.
and pull it out. Scat, 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 scat. Or raid level ping, 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 ping. Yeah, dude. I feel like baby cranks are underloved. Like we've just talked about how crankbaits in general are underloved.
Very much so.
Imagine being a baby crank.
So underloved.
But yet, on the St. Croix, there was, I mean, in practice, on that baby crank,
Oh yeah.
I was catching bigger fish on the baby crank than I was the regular size crank. That was like, St. Croix River was a situation, depending on the weather and where you were fishing, where you could throw a smaller lure and get much bigger bites. And didn't turn out to be the case necessarily tournament day, but
Tournament
in the
day, they were
afternoon.
choking a chatterbait.
In the morning, they weren't. They were choking my little baby stuff in the morning when they were keying in on shad, and then I think they got more cover oriented in the afternoon, and I lacked the adjustment because I had a good morning and you had a really good afternoon half. That was like,
Yep.
and that's just funny to me. It's cool.
Yeah, because in practice it was pro Sunny B deep and Sunny B and everything in practice, and then tournament day I couldn't get them to really commit to it as good as a chatterbait, and the wind picked up.
Is that Sunny B got like a narrower,
Tighter wobble.
yeah.
on it? Cold water. Good
Okay.
good cold water, like
Yeah,
late
yeah.
spring, all through fall, river.
Say a little tighter wobble than like a DT, and then, but not quite a
Plus
official
the balsa.
flat side.
Yeah, I was gonna
it's,
say not like
it's not a
flat
pure
side.
flat side, but it acts a lot like a flat side. Cold water, that little Sunny B, Pro Sunny B. Pro Sunny B is, I mean, good year round.
Yeah, and the balsa variation, they mix in all of that. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, bud.
I love me a balsa bait. They, even though they have variants in them, it's just if you find good ones, you're beating everybody. It's just the way it is. Because you can't mimic it, like you can't replicate it.
The Bagleys are pretty consistent. You buy
Consistently
4 of them,
good,
3
too.
of them are going to be really good.
Yeah.
And that's conservative.
It's not like what they used to do in the 90s. Like we talked to Jay, like I said earlier, but he talks about crankbaiting back in the day. They go through, he's got tubs, like big tubs of them, and they go through 20, 30 of them and find 3 good ones. It's like, oh, like it's a lot of money to spend on crankbaits to get 3 crankbaits. And I mean, I'd rather spend more per bait to know I'm getting a good bait.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely a trend nowadays.
And it's working. We're getting more consistent baits out of it, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see from all bait makers. It makes our job easier, but it makes catching fish easier too.
For sure. For sure. Dane, what's new with you, Mr. Champion Steward?
Tell all the things. How much do you want to know?
What do you guys want to know?
Has it kicked in yet?
The schedule came out.
Yeah, we saw that. It looks fun.
That was well received by most everybody.
That's pretty rare for a tournament schedule, pretty much ever.
Yeah, I haven't had too much criticism. I not notable from anybody. Right. No.
Maybe they're just afraid of you.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Is it set in? Like, do you?
Oh yeah.
Like you, it's all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like some people would probably be like, I still can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we've talked. You seem pretty like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm on it. So, which is pretty awesome. Like, you don't want to see any non-confidence from somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Like,
can't have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen it before, so that's why you always ask, because you're curious. Like,
Yeah. So what's new?
What
Rods are selling. The tour is running great. Behind the scenes, things are coming together great. Haven't seen too many additions in like new big sponsors. It's been pretty tough with the economy to get people to commit to certain things. We got a lot of players that are just kind of sitting there at the door waiting to see what happens. Few returning sponsors, Waypoint being one of them. It sounds like.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's gonna be great. There's gonna be
suck if they said no.
Well,
just like
we've already
really tough spot.
We've already had the meeting and have agreed to certain circumstances, but yeah. So Waypoint's gonna be a monumental piece to the puzzle. So just taking basically what was there and making it better for everybody, which is gonna be fun on my side of things, because with the media production, what we're creating, how we're bringing more people to the stores, creating something that you can document from a return on investment. We've mentioned this multiple times in other podcasts, but actually delivering it and tailoring it so they can see how it benefits them is something that really needs to happen on my end, and creating that with each person, the Tim Prices, the Joel Carlsons, the Dan Fabianos, the Ross Kellermeiers, the people who are doing the stuff, right? Glenn with Northland. It's very important to make sure that they feel appreciated, and me being the point of contact and really communicating that with my team has been fun to watch evolve. So next year is going to be epic.
Let's air this out. Let's get this sponsorship meeting going. Between Waypoint, Ross.
We've already had the meeting, but he can certainly send it. Send it, Ross. Tell him what we're doing.
What would you like to see from the Champions
The schedule's
Tour
out,
this
so
year,
people
Ross?
know what's going on.
Was this at the end of the day? It's important that both parties are on the same page and bringing value. And
For sure.
As a potential angler of the Champions Tour,
Yep.
I want to make sure I'm doing my part too.
Air it out, Ross.
When we talked, I told Dane that none of these accusations were regarding him. It was regarding the fishing industry in general and how that's going. The number one issue that I've seen, and that Erik, being the pro staff manager, all that kind of stuff, that we've seen in the year and a half that we've been open, there's a very large problem of I want you to give me a catastrophically stupid amount of money, and I want to do absolutely nothing in return. Nothing. So when we give you money or a deal or whatever that agreement looks like, and I told Dane, this wasn't you, this is other people. They're taking that money and then we never see you again. We never hear from you again. We might see a picture of you somewhere and you tag us in it, and that's cool, but there's a big issue of wrap my boat and pay for my boat wrap and you get nothing in return. It's probably the biggest problem I could think of right now.
And that's not like the people we did that with.
Yeah.
That's people like as a whole, like
Industry wide.
The amount of people who ask that question
Yeah.
it's safe to say it's astronomical. And I mean, look, if you're Easton freaking Fothergill level, we'll know who you are, and then those conversations can happen. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Because, like, there's no question a guy like Easton's worthy of somebody paying for his boat wrap or whatever. What we're saying is, like, if you're not even, and I should say, it doesn't even matter if you're top 5 in Team Trail, but, like, if you're not even coming in top 5 in your local team events, please reconsider coming to a group of any sponsor, us or anyone else, for an astronomical amount of money, because it happens. Like, the amount of, like, random DMs from guys being like, hey, I'm wrapping the boat this year, X amount of dollars to be on the wrap. We're like, okay, but, like, what does that do for us? Like,
Yep.
What are you fishing?
Yep.
What are you gonna come in and create content with us? Are you gonna get on the water with us like
No.
our pro staff guys
No.
did? Are you
No.
gonna,
Mhm.
yeah? And that's what we're seeing is,
Yep.
like,
No, I'm not willing to do that.
a good example of the opposite of that, and this is not necessarily a fair example, but it's a really good example because he's done it a long time, is our relationship with Chad Grigsby. And that did come from me. He's a good buddy of mine, and I've worked for him. But he's come through. He's come through the shop. He's created video content. He posts on our behalf. He's got our logo on his jersey, and when he does well, which he did a few times this year, our logo's right front and center, and he's thanking his sponsors, including us, and it's like that's what you're looking for, is a guy who's gonna put in the work. And Chad's great. Like, I love working with Chad. I've always enjoyed traveling with Chad, but he's the example. Like, Chad will tell you this, he's not Kevin Van Dam, but he's fished tournaments for 20 years and made a living doing it because he's put in the work everywhere he's gone with every company he's worked with.
And
It's easy to see a return on investment on that kind of
And
guy.
it's not just bass either. We've got a walleye guy that we've been working with since we opened, David Askew.
He's
he
awesome.
fishes that
Dave's great.
MTT
Yep.
and I'm blanking on their names right now.
The AIM. or
The
something.
AIM, yeah.
AIM, yeah.
Fishes those two. And last year he was leading Angler of the Year so far ahead that he wouldn't have had to fish like the last 2 events. And this year he's wins 3rd place, 2nd place,
Yep.
top 10's like stupid. But he's been shopping at our store since before we opened, buying all the cool stuff, winning walleye tournaments on G-Crack bellows gills.
Yeah, that's
Like
crazy.
everything he owns he got from here. Like, he supported us, so we supported him back.
Yeah.
Like,
We don't expect guys to come in and like buy us by like spending money here. Like, if you have something else to offer, like, good example, Mr. Teal here. He's got his podcast and he promotes the crap out of us. If he does great in tournaments, but even if he doesn't have a good year,
It was a rough year.
by his standards, it was a rough year. He's still putting in the work, and we're seeing a return on investment. Like, when we do our, like, look back on our review on the year, we go, oh, like, is Teal going to be signed on for next year? As long as he doesn't say no, yeah, we got our return. And I'm not just saying that to blow.
Thanks, bro.
Like, we do appreciate all the work you do. Like,
Well, feelings mutual.
and we feel like that you bring the value that you promised us, and you were able to present that at the beginning so that we believed in you, and then you held up your end of the bargain to prove it. If we could get every pro staffer who applied to do that, we'd have a hard time saying no to the guys we usually have no problem saying no to. So that doesn't mean don't try, guys. Like, those of you who are listening, like, by all means, just make sure your ducks are in a row and you know what you're signing up for and offering when you come to us, because we're more inclined to listen.
And ladies, if you're single, Erik's number is.
I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna put that out there.
No.
Spot.
Yeah,
I've
dude.
already put it out there.
You don't need a line through your door, boss. You don't need a line
I
through
work
that
on
door.
it every day.
In that outfit, you'd have a line through the door.
There's gotta be some ladies out there who want a bastronaut.
It's a tough industry, though. I mean,
It is.
it's a tough industry to be sponsored, because it's hard work. I mean, so is that worth the work, or is your time better spent being a plumber? You know, that's
For you to decide,
totally. But it's I think it's tough for a lot of people, fishermen, to be creative that way and think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of generally a little more conservative folk, depending who you talk to. But I guess, Dane, what's your opinion on that with the rod
All
stuff?
the businesses?
I mean, yeah, with all the businesses, but I think the main question I had for you was, like, how much has your day-to-day changed? Like, how much time per day are you spending on Champs Tour now, that you weren't before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how you have enough time in the day for what you do, I guess, outside looking in.
I would say that on a weekly basis, hours of my time are pulled away from other things that need to get done. I try and handle most of those business conversations to and from work on my 40-minute drive, whether it's the Glenn Walkers or the Providence Marketing or the Paul Newmans or those things. Throughout my day at the studio, when I have openings, is usually when I hit my check boxes. When I'm looking at things that need to get done, I have a tablet of things that pop into my head, whether it's call Joe Carlson and Chris with the marketing team of Skeeter and sit down and explain to them what we're going to do different this year and how we're going to tailor things. These phone calls you think could be 5 to 10 minutes and they turn out to be 40-minute long conversations. That time is hard to measure because it's every day, I guess, even just going down the list of anglers and calling the anglers in the tour, I have a list of all the anglers and I just go down and I try and hit a few every week. Sometimes it turns into more. Sometimes it's a half dozen. But what people forget is when you make one phone call, sometimes that phone call is an hour and a half long on the way.
With the fisherman?
Yeah, on the way.
It's that short.
Well, and then let's say you get through 10 in a week, but then 5 of those guys call you back to talk more about certain things, just to, ask questions and familiarize themselves. And I'm working my way through all the anglers in the off season just to check up and follow up, and that all just is part of the job. Like Gaffron said, instilling confidence is a big one. Relationship with sponsors is a big one. That right there is just a huge difference with how much we communicate, how much, that is happening already before I took over the Champions Tour with the Vocelka business, and just being transparent and easy to get a hold of. And I don't know how much time that is, but that's my life. I mean, that's my job. So the Champions Tour as a pie, I don't know, man, how to answer that question. It's an everyday job. There's always something on the list that could be checked, and if you pass it off to the next day, your list just now has more things on it. So you just keep checking the to-dos, and you expand on everything, and everybody has input, and you apply it to your what ifs. How do we make this greater? And I just am a doer. I don't like to procrastinate on too many things. Usually if something comes up, it has to be taken care of immediately. I set down what I'm doing and try and tackle it. Or as soon as I'm done with an appointment at the studio, or when the wife and kids take off to go do barrel racing, it's right to the book. Like, this is what we have to do.
Mr. Vocelka is what you would call a savant of his craft.
Maybe not quite the savant that you say, with the eloquency, but yes, there is a level of discipline there that is needed and noted on this side to make sure that the things are completed as such.
I don't know if I have enough eloquency for what you just said, but I like it.
It's good, man. I thoroughly enjoy it because it's taking something that was already great and building upon it, which I haven't had the opportunity to do before. I've only had to create something from nothing, and now I get to just build on that, put my personal touch on it.
Hey guys, Gaff with Waypoint Angler Supply here. Just wanted to highlight the fact that we have the big bass resource right here. Obviously, everybody in Minnesota knows about Kitex and the littler swim baits like these bait labs here, but we're here to have the big baits here in the store. We got Huddlestons, we've got the dangerous swim baits, the jointed claw glide baits, and the bull shooter glide baits. But it's not only the baits. We've got big rods, big reels, big line, and all that good stuff for you guys to go ahead and chase your biggest fish of your life. So swing on into Waypoint Angler Supply and get hooked up with the biggest tackle around.
Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help guide you through the entire mortgage process, from pre-qualification to closing. They have a wide variety of home loan programs in their tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time homebuyer options. Just ask me. I trusted Aaron Dagas, a bass fisherman just like you and me, and Supreme Lending's Dream Team to help finance my first home. Contact Aaron Dagas and the Dream Team today by scanning the QR code or giving them a call at 763-326-0677. That's 763-326-0677. Did I catch a 7 in there? Or visit their website, aarondages.supremelending.com. That's AARONDAEGES.supremelending.com.
You're making Champions Tour great again.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Again.
Greater.
Mr.
The intentions are
Vocelka?
to make it bigger and greater and more rewarding. Yeah.
Does this mean you will be performing less tramp stamps in the
No.
near future?
I'll probably work more in the studio now. I'll have less time on the water because I won't be practicing Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'll be only at the site Monday, Tuesday.
So what you are trying to tell me is there will be more tramp stamps to be had?
Yeah. More tattoos, more rods,
This is
more
wonderful.
horses. And probably a bunch more fun fishing and media production on my end. Yeah. Yeah. Which will be a blast because I won't be doing the 3 days of practice fishing where you're not setting the hook on every fish. Now when I'm on the water, every fish is getting a hook set. Poor them, I suppose.
Isn't that the funny thing about tournament fishing? Not at all to change the subject, but the really, really good tournament fishermen spend an awful lot of time in practice not catching fish. And I've seen that. That's like across the board, every level I've ever seen. When I covered MLF, all that. You talk to the guy who won in an MLF event, and you ask him, hey, just out of curiosity, how many fish did you catch in practice? The answer could range between 5 and 10, 9 times out of 10. Like, they're like, I caught one fish on my winning area, and I left. You've heard that story a million times.
Yeah.
But, like, the amount of being good at catching fish on game day has to do with how much time you find correctly locating them and then just leaving them the hell alone. And that is such a bizarre thing to think about. And, like, but it's the reality. Like, you're talking about, you're going to get to swing all the time now.
Yeah.
I was also going to ask, are you doing any other tournaments, or like you're not doing team trail or anything?
Teal and I have talked about it, and it's kind of up in the air. I don't know.
Fair enough.
It's kind of,
See how it goes.
yeah, we're feeling it out, feeling out the off season, still communicating about it, still fishing together and doing fun things.
Yeah.
But
This year was a lot, man. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. It was a stressful kind of just summer. Everything
tournament
was
to
on,
tournament to tournament to back to
yeah,
back
we
to
fished
back to
Chamster
back.
and team trail, and to kind of mix that in with trying to make a living was, yeah, pretty stressful. And yeah, I think both of us felt a little burnt out for sure. So
With owning businesses and not making money when you're gone, and then now operating and then that's hard to do. Then balance a family with 3 kids, and that's a you can do it. It can be done, but the passion of fishing is more than just the tournament side of it. I think people forget that fishing can be done in many different ways, and it can be me and Ross going out and having fun on a lake and cracking on them is almost, if not more fun than going out and being serious in a tournament for 8 hours. Now, there are days where I want to be in the tournament atmosphere, of course, but I have just as much fun with Teal and the boys, Battle of the Hogs, catching our 5 biggest over a weekend.
From my personal experience of working with MLF, I think you'll still notice that you get a lot of the tournament atmosphere, even though you'll be helping run the events and hosting and being the owner.
Yeah.
Because when I worked MLF events, I mean, I was on the water every day. I was covering, taking photos and all that stuff.
Yep.
And you still feel like, even though you're not the one fishing tournaments, you can still feel that atmosphere amongst the boats as you're watching guys. You can tell when a guy's having a good day, a bad day, and like that atmosphere's still there. So I would be very surprised if you didn't still feel that. But I was just curious because Dane, you're a hell of a stick, and you've won a lot of tournaments. So like, I could see you definitely taking some steps back.
Mm-hmm.
If you never fish a tournament again, I think we'll all be a little sad.
Yeah, that's not going to be the case. Okay. It's just making sure that the appropriate amount of attention to detail is put first, and then reevaluating and auditing how everything works, so I know where to delegate the time and the attention and the resources, so I can put as much back into the tournament scene and give as much to the anglers and the sponsors as possible, and the marshals, of course. But that is the number one goal. Like, be as selfless as possible. Hope that it helps expose the fishing brand, yes, but that's not the point. It's just to direct it in a positive way so it continues to impact the industry in our area as best as you possibly can do it. And if I don't have what it takes, I don't have what it takes, but I'm going to give it 110% for sure, like everything else.
It sounds like you have a vision of where you want it to go, and coming into a big project like this with a vision like that's huge.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we'd all agree Champs Tour is in very good hands. Forward.
Thank you. Well, I want to see Waypoint succeed. I want to see Teal's Bass Galaxy succeed. I want to see all the affiliated sponsors succeed, and I want to see everybody's numbers go up, because that only does so much more for everyone around us.
Yeah. It's a big, small world out there, and it takes a village.
For sure.
Point. And Dane, I don't know if I've said this to you yet on the record, but as a brother, dude, I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
It's been cool to see.
It's going to be quite the ride. It already has been.
I'm proud of you, brother.
Thanks, man.
Proud of you, too. And you. Proud of all of you.
Crazy group. Accomplished quite a bit in the last few years.
It's crazy to try and make a living in this whole fishing industry, ain't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all trying to do it at some level.
So hard.
It's not easy. I've talked to enough guys in the industry, like, and Ross has been around the industry long enough. We've talked about it a lot. Like, this is, if you don't want it, you probably shouldn't be. Like, if you're even wavering on being involved at these kind of levels with the fishing industry, like, really
reconsider.
Like, are you sure? Because, like, a great example of this. Second tournament I went on with Chad Grigsby. We're driving home. He turns to me, he goes, "All right, Erik, is it everything you thought it was going to be?" And I had the balls, and I believe this. I still agree with what I said, but I had the balls look him in the face and go, "This is way more fun and way better than I ever thought it would be, and this is everything I ever dreamed it was." And he kind of looked at me crazy, but if that's not your answer while you're doing this stuff, it ain't for you. Whether it's running tournaments or owning a tackle shop or fishing tournaments or running a podcast, like, it's okay to step back, because I've stepped back. Like, we've talked about it. Like, it's a good thing sometimes to take that step back. But like, if it's not fuck yes, don't do it. And all of those things.
Well, Brett Height was talking about taking a year off and how, beneficial that was for him, and a lot of times it's maybe not what's in you, but the sport costs a lot. So if your finances aren't there,
Yeah.
or you're, then it doesn't mean your mind's not there. It just means it's not a smart thing to do,
Oh yeah, it will take your mind out of it too. Like worrying about that.
Yeah.
I've been there. I mean, I don't own a boat yet. That's a good example, but like making it work. But like I've been there. Like when I was in Champlain, I had to call my dad, ask for help. He gave me gas money when we got home, but like that's reality. That's what happened. Like that wasn't a smart decision on my part. I learned a valuable lesson. Don't ever fish a tournament unless you got enough bank account to get home if you lose, because I didn't cash a check. But I've seen it. I've heard stories about guys who like they're like going to that tournament, and if they don't cash a check, they're not making it home, and they don't get to call home and get that help. So like you gotta really want it. Be that ballsy.
Boys, it's been real, but I gotta bounce. I gotta get home to the kiddos.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out, dude.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
Skull, dude. I'm sorry about the Vikes, man.
They're gonna bounce back.
I'm sorry about the Vikes. I didn't even want to look at the score, and as soon as I did, the first person I thought about was Ross. I was like, oh,
We got Sammy Dimes. We'll be fine.
We'll be all right.
I told Eric today we're gonna lose to the Lions twice in the regular season and beat them in the playoffs.
That's probably true. I have no reason to disagree with that. They're really freaking good.
would be ideal. I'd do it when it matters.
It's like not catching them in practice and then catching them on game day.
Yeah.
Same concept.
Yes.
And I feel like they needed to lose they needed to lose before the playoffs,
Yes.
right? Like, you need to feel that
A little bit that hurt.
a little bit,
Yeah.
I just
remember what it's
hoping
like.
I just was hoping it wasn't Sunday.
Right. Yeah.
I wish football was on Saturdays. Why is it on Sundays?
I don't know.
Well, because college.
Then college should be on Fridays.
I'm okay with that. Hey,
Let's
you don't have
change
to
it then.
petition
Let's
me
make
to
a
change
petition.
this.
Well,
I'll
again,
sign the
boys,
petition.
it's been real. Thank you. Love you all. You guys enjoy the rest of your, what do you call them? Tackle snackle boxes.
Snackle box, snackle tote, and
Need
snackle
anything for
bag.
the road.
But I gotta get to building our odds and taking care of kids. So I appreciate the couple of hours I was able to spend with you boys this weekday afternoon.
Well, Dane, it's been a pleasure. And for all of you listening, this man has left the podcast to go build you more rods, and he needs to feed his family. So you need to make sure that
we gotta
you
you
VocelkaFishing.com right now.
Well, and it sounds like we're working up some pretty cool deals in the month of November. So you totally can. I give you full permission to advertise all of that. But until next time, keep it real.
Goodbye,
Dane's
Pony Boy.
checking out.
Stay golden, Pony Boy.
Love you, boys.
Love you too, Dane. Thanks, bud.
Anytime.
Thanks, Dane. We'll see you soon.
Later, Gators.
Thanks, Duckett.
How much have you been calling him Duckett?
Boy, Duckett.
Have you
Not
been-
very often, but once in a while.
Okay, if
Once
he was
in a
still
while, I've
fishing,
been
because he's not,
liking calling
like
him
we
that.
just discussed, he's not fishing, but if he's fishing it, I
he would
guarantee
be
he'd
Boy
be getting Duckett comparisons.
Oh,
But yeah, you gotta give it to him. He fished with them all the
He
time.
he could fish a trail, and I'd still love him. But it's just funny. Just call him
it's funny.
Duckett. Dane Duckett.
All right.
I kind of want to get. I don't think Teal was here for that conversation I was having with Dane earlier, so I kind of want to get his opinion on that little upgraded model we were talking about earlier.
We can talk about that off the record.
No, on the record. I want to talk about it.
Well,
Little upgrade in the works. You don't think I can talk about that?
is it a for sure thing that's
He
happening?
just said I could talk about
Oh,
it.
well, then fuck it. Go for it.
Okay.
I don't give a shit.
But this might be good for feedback, literally.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Before you got here, Dane and I were concocting something.
Okay.
His tournament series hair jig rod.
I'm listening.
What if we took that same hair rod blank
Yeah.
and put a little bit lighter weight guides on it. Murdered it out a little bit, like straight black. Made it kind of sexy. Lightened her up a little bit. And we had a Waypoint Angler Supply exclusive hair rod that's kind of takes that hair jig rod that you know and love, but upgrades it a little bit, a little more premium, a little more pizzazz. How would you feel about that?
I like it.
Yeah.
A lot, actually.
Yeah. That was our thoughts as well. And I think that was Erik's thoughts too.
Oh, I'm on board. This is a thing that should
I
happen.
think Murdered Out, I think all of that is a beautiful idea.
Yeah. We just
A beautiful, beautiful,
he
beautiful
came in and
beautiful
said,
idea.
what can we do to be a little different, to get some things going? And we just kind of put our heads together and said, the original hair jig rod, that always stays, right? But what if we could make one that's a little more, I think premium is the word.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we got
You
that
get the-
clientele that likes to get the, high-end 3-letter model, and then they could spend a little less and get probably
They just wanna
a
get a
little bit
little
more
fancy with it,
perfect-
right?
A little more perfect hair
Yeah.
jig rod.
And a little bit more
yeah,
fancy with
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because,
So-
I mean,
I see it.
let's be honest,
I
the
see it.
already existing hair jig rod that Dane makes is one of the finest specimens in the fishing world. Like, every smallmouth fisherman in the Midwest and beyond should own a Dane Vocelka hair jig rod. Agreed?
100%.
Like, without it, guys in East Tennessee should have 5 of them because they love a hair jig out there.
spy baits, small swim baits, hair jig, and Ross and I were talking about this, but like that little sweeper you got on that little decoy baby head on a hair jig rod, fishing it like
Nice and
a hair jig.
easy.
I mean, you can do a lot. Point is, you can do a lot of
Yep.
anything. Any light bait you need to throw far. I mean, you throw a raid level ping with that thing.
I
Like
bet you could.
spy
Yeah.
bait, raid level ping.
So now
Coleman
take,
Flats.
take that perfectness and make it just
And
a
upgrade
touch
it.
better.
Yep. I think
I don't
that's
know
a
how you
no-brainer.
don't
That's
sell
a
that.
no-brainer to me. Just like you'd upgrade a jig hook and have a pro version, or
And I
you know
think
what
if-
have you.
I think if we all feel that way, I think the bass fishing community would feel that way. I think if we could come out with something a little special here, I think that's going to be a big hit.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I also think, well, yeah, because like the hair jigs rod is like your Corrado, but you don't have a Metanum.
Let's make it a
hair jig rod.
Metanium.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great way to put it.
So
Right. I feel like if he made a murdered out big rig rod
Oh,
and a murdered out scat rod, and you guys had like kind of a
that's the other thing we were talking about
series
was
for
a scat series. We're talking about that as
Yeah.
well. We actually sold
that's gonna be so sick.
we sold a bunch of custom scat sticks last year, and it took a lot of tweaking and testing and what does this customer like, because everybody throws a scat differently and everybody throws a different sized scat and throws
Right.
it in different areas, and so we kind of came up with 3 different models for scatting, and that's going to be in the works for next year as well, as scat sticks. Like, that's going to be a thing.
It is, and
So.
I saw a post on this from Masayuki about them depths rods, and they have a scat rod.
Yep.
And I
Did you get to
almost
see the
wanted to
action
have.
on it?
Yeah, but he was kind of just vague. He said he throws every size scat on that rod, and I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he just doesn't throw the little one, or or he throws like I don't know.
I mean, to me, if you're throwing the 3.5 versus a 4, it's a different rod.
Right, but that depths rod would be worth like even for. I was just thinking like, get one. Dane can see it.
Yep.
And do we like it, or do we think we could make
Yep.
some improvements, or like to see? Because what those guys in Japan throw a scat on would be really interesting, just to compare, like our, American muscle way of thinking, kind of with their, a little more finesse artistry.
Yeah.
With what they got. I like the way you think with
Yeah.
having scat rods.
Yeah.
And I think out loud sometimes, but
Scat rods, hair rods. Black Friday is coming up, and I'm not gonna get into specifics right now, but
There's going to be something.
there's probably gonna be, and it's related to Vocelka rods. There's probably gonna be 30 to 50 guys waiting outside once we release our Vocelka rod promo for Black Friday. I'm not even kidding. It will be 30 to 50 guys outside waiting to get this promo.
I mean, we
I
had
thought
like
you were
30
gonna-
guys outside last year. We didn't
Yeah.
even have a good promo. We're going to have a
think
good one this year.
I think you guys should do a Pocky Helter Twister promo where if you buy a Helter Twister,
you
get a free
Pocky.
Pocky of Pockies.
Oh my god.
Like, to me,
Jubilee is going to be sold out in like
Like-
5 minutes.
can we just announce that? Can you just? I mean, is this still in the thinking
When
stage? and
you
guys
watch
will
this
announce it?
podcast, if you buy a Helter Twister, yes, we will throw in an original chocolate Pocky sticks. Not the cookies and cream. It'll be chocolate. Yes.
And are we getting them one Pocky?
No, the whole thing. You get the whole you get the whole sealed up bag.
whole bag
We're
of
going to have to order a
chocolate
lot of
Original
Pockies.
chocolate Pockies with your purchase of a
All
Helter
right,
Twister.
I'll get on Amazon
I'll be
right now
honest.
and find out how much Pockies are
bait
gonna be.
whales in the fall. So
Yeah,
you're
we need a-
picking some good timing,
We need a Pocky supplier.
dude.
We could.
You guys should sell
This should open
Pockies
a
here.
whole new can of worms. So like you've got like at stores you've got like the candy Reese's and Hershey's. We can just have Pockies at the
That's
checkout.
what I'm saying, dude. Pockies.
Yeah, just Pockies.
Just Pockies.
Pockies and Red Bull.
Oh, there's definitely bulk Pockies here, Roscoe.
Do you see what you've done, Bastronaut? Do you see what you've opened up here for this
It's
can of
it's not
Pockies?
it's not the it's not
You
the
opened
first
a
time I
whole
started
bag
the
of
trend.
Pocky sticks here.
I'm trying to find his bulk Pockies. Oh, pack of 10, $21.75.
Okay, that's manageable.
We got there's like 8 Helter Twisters in stock right
There's some
now.
more over there too.
I wonder if
Probably
we
10
could
to 12.
form these
All right,
and
so we
play
need like
table
a pack
Pocky.
of 10.
Table Pocky?
Oh, perfect.
Eric, do you want to Lady and the Tramp this Pocky with me?
No,
Oh,
not today.
Just Pocky stamp this month.
Your wife would be upset.
I'm Pocky stamp.
I don't think she would.
She's really tolerant of you being a giant goofball.
As she should be. Life.
That's how you know
life
you
ain't
found a good
supposed to
one,
be
though.
that way. Like, you should be able to be your goofy self.
You're damn right.
You should be able to enjoy a Pocky whenever you want.
Pocky?
Not the cookies and cream one. I want the
Oh,
original.
no, this is yours.
Yeah, I want the original.
You're so particular. I
All
love
these
it.
Remember, Eric,
listeners
in
are
my-
like, I came here to learn about bass fishing, and they're all they're
What are
doing
you
is
talking
eating
about?
Pockies.
These are gonna be in the boat when I go to the national championship. Not this pack, but like I'm gonna have Pockies.
Smaller is always better.
I'm telling you,
I'm
right?
gonna hand my boater at Natty's on day one a Pocky and be like, "This is for good luck."
I'll be honest. I think I'm gonna use a Pocky as kind of a timer. Throw my Senko out there. You can't move your Senko till you finish your Pocky.
Back in the day, did you ever know a guy who smoked cigars at the time? How long he left his worm out there? I didn't know.
The old guy, yeah, smoking a Senko, baby. Yep.
I didn't know him, but like Todd Martin, science teacher at my old high school, former tournament fisherman, great dude, got me into fishing. One of his favorite stories was telling me about a guy who would bring cigars on the boat and throw a Senko out on a weed line, and he wouldn't move it until the cigar was half gone, and then he'd pick it up and move it a foot, and if it didn't get eaten, he'd smoke the rest of the cigar. Dude was smashing the crap out of him.
Catch 'em.
I don't think he ever actually finished his cigar. It sounded like, because he was always catching fish, so he'd like catch a fish like a quarter of the way through the cigar. So like, if that's not true, I'm misremembering. But in my head, it's become this amazing, epic hyperbole for. Sometimes you just gotta soak it.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just gotta get a little Mormon, and you know,
Did
do
you-
the
did that
soaking.
one go over your head?
Tony Hatton, Doug Petrak, Nick Gross. That's who taught me the smoking a Senko or told me about it.
Tony's a good dude.
He is a good dude.
I fished with him at state.
Really
Yep, he's my day 3.
nice.
Great dude.
Great dude. Learned a lot.
Shout out
Fish-
to Tony Hatton.
Yeah.
I would not have won that tournament without him.
Really?
Because he was around fish. I mean, he's good, you know that. But they weren't quite. We like I said, I caught him on A-rig on the last day. He was wearing out the Vocelka hair rod. catching the crap out of little ones. I mean, if he would have got 1 or 2 big bites, he probably could have won the boater side, no problem. But just didn't go. And then the last 3 hours, I just changed some stuff up and caught a fish or 2 and made it happen. But like that dude, I learned a lot that day. Like, I get to be in the back of a lot of boats. It's always fun to get in the back of a guy like Tony's boat because you pick things up, you learn things, see how he picks things apart, and he's been so successful. Yes, Roscoe.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in somebody else's boat?
Oh, damn, that's a good question.
Like, open up a compartment, you're looking for your Kitex, boom.
I've had guys have like weird good luck charms, like little dolls or something, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's my daughter's toy" or whatever. I'm like, that's kind of weird, but okay.
Okay, that's valid. Weird.
I can't think
I'll
of
put that on the
anyone.
weird chart.
I can't think of anything in specific. Oh, this was weird. I had a guy this summer sometime who had a spinning rod with a swivel on it, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, this isn't 1985. Okay, so to me, that's bizarro.
He probably used to be a walleye fisherman.
That's the only thing I gathered from it.
Maybe his eyes are going and he can't tie leaders as good as he wants
That's
to. So
that's
it's
fair.
all he trusts. Was
That's
he old?
fair. Yeah, he was.
Okay.
He was. I'm not gonna name names because people know who he is.
Yeah,
but
he's just old.
I think it was
can't
also
see.
he doesn't like line twist because he was using straight fluoro main line. So it did make sense, but also that's bizarro world to me too. Like, braid's awesome.
There's something I agree. What was he doing? If you don't mind
He
me
was just
asking.
drop shotting.
Okay.
That's why it was weird to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
See, I've done that like swivel on a bait caster drop shot because he gets like a lot of times you'll get all that line twist and then you reel up and it's doing one of these. But the spinning rod, no.
no. That's why I was confused.
Oh, braid.
Okay, but that doesn't really answer your question. But how about you? You've co-angled a bit. You've been in people's boats.
Weirdest thing was probably, I think it was we were fishing like somewhere really cool, and there was a bunch of cool. It was like probably Smith Lake.
Cool lake.
All
for sure.
the different shit you could be throwing out
I
there.
actually like that lake a lot.
And we idled about 20 feet to the nearest bridge and sat there all day.
Oh no.
And he was wearing one of those hats that has like the sunshade on it. You know what I'm talking about? Like those the really long duckbill hats, and it had like the sun. I don't know. What do you know what?
I know what you're talking about.
Yep. They're
real
like a boonie hat with like a
Yep.
The main
hood.
character in Sandlot had one of those on, and they
Yeah,
made him
Randy
switch his
Howell
hat.
wore it
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
tournament one
Yeah.
time.
Wearing that, and then halfway through the tournament, he complimented it by zipping off the legs of his pants.
That's next level.
The zipper pants.
Zip off pants.
Yeah, zip offs. Yeah.
Guy's on a damn
Please.
safari.
Yeah, it was straight Safari Dan. Yeah. Yeah.
Remember zip offs? I used to have a pair.
Oh yeah, I had zip
Zip-offs
offs,
used
but
to
it
be
was
cool.
like 2008.
Yeah.
Like, things were different.
Well, that's probably when that guy
We didn't
bought them.
catch any fish that day.
Oh man.
He did idle you 20 feet or 20 yards.
Yeah,
to
like
Nearest
it
Bridge.
was. From takeoff to the bridge, like we'd have to go anywhere.
I feel like I should have a better answer. For
Where
this
was
'cause
that?
I've been in
I
so
think it
many
was
boats.
Smith Lake because it was somewhere like we could have been fishing bluff walls, and we could have been like we were catching big largemouth in practice on a buzz bait, and like doing off the wall shit and fishing just cool like spooning docks and all this cool shit, and then we just go
That's cool
fish.
as hell.
Just go fish the bridge with my zippy pants.
With your zippy pants? You mean his zippy pants? I feel like you would rock some zippy pants though.
I would.
Roscoe.
I'm gonna.
I'd consider
He's gonna be a zippy pants dad someday. Just
Well,
mark
I'm
my
a
words.
sucker for like cool stuff I see online.
I know.
Like the one time we got, remember we bought those? I bought those man-made boxer briefs.
What?
They're okay. So there's these.
I remember
This is a Matt Plouffe story. So I had man-made boxers show up to my house after we moved in, like 2 weeks after we moved in.
He didn't order
right?
Are
them.
they sure they weren't
Somebody
made by a woman?
Somebody
No, like-
else's The brand is man-made. And
Okay.
they're awesome.
They're
That's
literally, yeah. Go
they're
ahead.
these boxers. They showed up on my doorstep. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Free boxers. They're way too big for me. They're like a size large.
Okay.
I need like extra smalls, right?
Yeah, same.
And they show up on my doorstep, and
I
I
was
look
there
up
for
what's
this.
man-made, what makes these special, and they hold your junk,
Really?
and they coddle it, and they love it, and
Really?
they pat
This is
it.
like literally something that's printed on the.
As anglers, we develop special bonds with our equipment. There's something magical when you find that perfect jig rod and reel combo for a technique that elevates your confidence on the water. Whether it's a perfectly balanced, crisp, and sensitive jig rod that gives you the highest level of control over your bait, allows you to feel every grain of sand, every bite, and allows you to drive that hook clean, or a rod with the perfect action and taper that seems to keep your chatterbait, swim bait, or whatever it is in the back of the bass's head where it belongs no matter where you throw it, or a rod that allows you to effortlessly cast a lighter bait you used to cuss at on your old combo. These types of magical bonds are rare to find in a mass-produced sweatshop, which is why Vocelka Fishing and Customs came to existence, with the sole purpose of bringing you closer to your passion by enhancing the bond with you, your rod, and the bass. Confidence is everything in bass fishing, and there's no bigger boner buster than losing a big fish, not feeling like you can present your bait correctly. The list goes on and on. Mr. Vocelka is a full-blown artesian craftsman who can build you the perfect rod, no matter the size or action, custom, exactly the way you want it. He also has a wide variety to choose from right on his website, including fan favorites like the 8-foot hair jig rod, the drop shot rod, swim bait rod, the chatter chicken rod, the MH workhorse, and more. Even ice fishing. You do the whole frozen Swiss cheese thing, the ice fishing. Seen grumpy old men? Well, you can send that jiggle stick back to the antique store because Mr. Vocelka builds custom ice rods in all sizes and actions too. So head on over to his website, vocelkafishing.com. That's VOCELKA fishing.com. To enhance your confidence on the water, feel your passion, and catch more bass, baby.
Label, by the way. This is what it says.
Free
More or
ball
less.
massage all
Yeah.
day.
Pretty much.
So Plouffe came over for beers, and we gave them to him.
Matt Plouffe, not Ryan.
And he gave me excellent feedback that they're awesome. So I ordered myself some. I don't know how we even started talking about this.
Oh, because what happened is you got the pair that was sent to the house right after you bought it, and they weren't your size, but they were Plouffe's size, so they went to Plouffe. Also, if whoever owned Ross's house before this hears this, that's where your underwear is. But anyways, Plouffe wore them, and then the next time we all hung out, Plouffe shows up, and Ross, of course, had to know, like, what happened. Like, were they good? And he's like,
Quite
they're pretty
comfy.
fucking good. That's what he said. And we're like, really? He's like, I mean, took a little getting used to, but they're not bad. I'm like, and he's like, and if you don't like it, you can just wear them like normal underwear. And we're like,
What do you
okay.
mean, wear them like normal underwear?
So like he said, they take care of your junk, right?
Okay.
But you can
but-
bypass it.
You can bypass it and just
Don't
not
don't go
use
in the pocket,
Extra
yeah.
pouch.
So they have like a
like a
built-in scrotum?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
Their
a,
own
it's a
built-in
kangaroo.
sack?
It's a
Yes,
kangaroo
yes.
pouch. Yeah.
Oh my god! So you put your so you put them on, and then you like put your balls
Jay, I
in the
can't-
thing.
Can't wait till Jay
Put your
listens
balls
to this
in the
later.
basket.
I'll be
yeah.
honest though, like think about it. How many times are you sitting down and kind of half sitting on your balls, or your legs are fucking squeezing them together?
The thing about
we were
if
like,
you
this
get 'em
makes
up,
total
if
sense.
you get them up like that,
Yeah.
that's gotta
And
be perfect.
And I bet when
You've
you're
got great marketing, by the way.
and I bet when you're 90 degrees or 90 years old
90 degrees.
and single and you're Erik, you don't have to worry about impressing the ladies with your having droopy problems. They're probably tight as a kite.
never sit on your balls again.
Yep.
I think that's the main takeaway here is you can avoid sitting on your nuts.
Nobody likes stepping on the dick.
Dude, that's the worst.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to
These
complain about in the
sound
world, but
ice.
sitting on your balls is one of them that it's valid.
Especially when you're bouncing a bass boat.
Yeah.
You land on one.
Well, the worst is like, oh, you're at Thanksgiving and you're just sitting in the living room with your family, and then you gotta fucking adjust your balls, and you're like,
Sorry,
But-
my junk's
sorry,
in the way.
everyone.
Yep.
Like, sorry, Grandma.
Yep.
Uncle
Sat
Dan,
on my balls
bad.
quick.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, anyways,
These sound great. Man-made.
Man-made.
Briefs.
Yeah.
that's a free plug for me.
We're not even sponsored by these
No,
guys.
We
that
should
was a
get
free plug.
sponsored by them.
We should. Man-made. You're probably not listening, but we're gonna call you.
Consider it.
Yeah, we should call. I'll write an email on tomorrow, Wednesday.
More bass anglers need to have their junk hugged.
I'll be
apparently.
honest. The amount of swalls in the lake, the swafts and the swalls. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the swalls prevention.
like mille lacs. Swalls
Oh
are
my
big.
God! Can you think about just you're protecting your balls from the impact of 4-footers?
Yeah. Ross, I'm starting to understand why you
Because
like these so
I'll be
much.
honest, like, yeah, you start doing the old bounceroo, butts puckering, like,
Does,
them balls are smacking.
do those Vexus seats
Not
help
in a Vexus.
help with the bouncing?
Oh yeah,
Do they?
Oh my
Vexus
God.
seats are rad.
yeah, they're it's full air shock, so like the boat's bouncing, but it's a true shock.
Yeah.
So yeah, your balls definitely like if you're in a Vexus, you probably don't need these briefs, but if you're in any other boat, yeah, if you're in a ball slapper,
Yeah.
you're gonna want to get some man-made
Yeah,
briefs.
because I'm a definite ball slapper right
Yeah.
now.
Are
and
you?
I would like to, seek-
Slap less balls.
yeah, like a slap less would be a good thing.
Vexus will fix that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, them air ride seats are no joke.
No
But
joke.
Make sure you keep your pump on board.
Yeah, just as long as they're
There's-
Oh,
pumped
now we're
up.
talking about pumps.
Okay. The pump for the seat
One
on the
law,
Vexus
sweetest
is a necessity
penis
to keep
laundry.
in your back
Uh,
back compartment.
Okay, we've all seen Austin Powers. That's
Yes,
great.
oh, absolutely, fantastic movies.
Don't mind. Carry on. Sorry.
Oh,
Hey, Eric.
yeah.
Never seen Awesome Powers. But
Oh my God. Okay. So Ross has this problem, and you know what his biggest problem is? Is that any reference I make, he's never heard it. I can quote
okay.
Anchorman, like
okay.
one of the most heard movies in the world, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck are you talking
yeah, I
about?"
would have no idea what you're talking about.
It doesn't matter because he's not sitting on his balls because he's using man-made briefs.
And you can get all sorts of cool
He
designs
laughed
too.
while he wasn't
I'll know
sitting
your
on his
reference.
balls.
Like
I
Matt,
appreciate it.
Matt's pair is it's actually a galaxy. He's got that kind of pinks and blues and oranges and yellows and greens.
I'm
Yeah,
not
they
gonna
come with
lie.
designs.
How sick would like a man-made briefs Waypoint Galaxy collab?
Yeah, yeah.
Just think, if you saw
It's like a
Anchorman,
UFO for your balls.
We can have Matt Plouffe be the model.
if
I
you
think
saw
that'd be great.
Anchorman, your balls wouldn't get crushed while you were laughing your ass off.
I think the two
saying.
people I would choose, but the other person I would choose besides Matt Plouffe for a Boxer Briefs commercial would be Keith fucking Tuma.
Ooh, there's a savage individual. That
Fucking-
man can catch
I feel
bass.
like, yeah, just a absolute Leech Lake gorilla of a man.
Now there's a fisherman right there.
Mm.
Them boats he runs are fast. That's all I know.
Do you like Waypoint bikinis for chicks?
That's a good idea, Roscoe.
Or Waypoint PJs, a onesie? Bring the onesies back. Footy PJs? Waypoint footy
I-
PJs.
Legitimately have a collection of onesies.
Dude, I'm jealous.
Olaf, Flying Squirrel, Batman, Sloth,
So jealous.
Dude.
Super Mario,
So jealous.
Alien.
This guy is the comfiest motherfucker I've
Do you
ever
have
seen.
Vikings ones yet?
I don't, but I can add that to my Christmas list.
Vikings ones.
Dude, I want...
What kind of man has a
If
Viking?
you're just
Cookie
chilling
Monster.
at home in the winter, a onesie,
Yeah,
footy pajamas,
You've seen his basement, right?
you have those in adult sizes, you motherfucker.
it's an adult large. Yeah,
Yeah, they have those. Did you know that? Internet, Amazon's the best
Amazon,
friend.
and then Walmart's a good source
But
for onesies.
okay,
as well.
I'm
I feel like I
amazed you
need a
don't
wife
have an
before I
Amazon
fucking
or
have
a
them, but-
Vikings onesie
Oh,
because
my favorite
your
one. I have Grumpy
basement-
Cat ones.
Okay.
That'd be my 8th pair. Yeah, Grumpy Cat.
That's wonderful.
I just can't believe he doesn't have Vikings ones because you've seen his basement.
Oh, it's...
It's a shrine to the team, which
It's a shrine.
fantastic. It's
is
wonderful. The paint job on the walls is fantastic.
Yeah.
Was that you or was that your family?
That was all me. Yeah, I'm an excellent painter.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty...
Shout out to
You won't find it.
Bob and Janice for painting and helping decorate.
Shout out Bob and Janice.
He
Sorry
won't,
for
but
swearing.
I will. They probably never hear this. I hope they never hear
Sorry
this.
for my language,
Oh,
Bob and Janice.
yeah, if
Jesus.
Bob... Could you even imagine if Bob watched any of these?
No, he's never
What he
seen
would
one.
think of everybody involved here? He thinks Erik has probably never done anything bad in his life.
Which
He
I'm a
loves you
degenerate
just by
fisherman.
default.
I don't know why. I'm just kidding.
He just,
I
yeah.
don't know why
I
he
think
wouldn't
he,
like
I
me,
think his
but-
perspective on everybody here would change.
He would find out how much of a degenerate fisherman I am.
Yeah.
Degenerate gambling fisherman.
I mean, what was Bob and his friends do in the garage? Don't they fucking dress up like aliens and astronauts and drink beer? And,
Yeah, where the hell did you get this from?
My dad wouldn't. He'll drink beer with his friends, I guess. But
My dad back in the day, he would totally do weird shit like this, no doubt. My dad was cool.
my dad. Was
But now I'm sure if I talked him into something like this, he would. But now he's just chilling.
Yeah, but you know, my dad would probably tell you and me specifically.
Don't
he'd
do that
say-
again.
He'd say, you probably shouldn't. He would say, why were you two wearing stupid shit on that podcast?
And I would look at him and go, it's a Halloween podcast. And if you're too old for Halloween, then why are we discussing Halloween?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did it for the vibe.
I'll
Like,
tell him if he has a problem, he can take it up with you.
I gotta be honest. I mean,
Well,
this is a special event.
I've been like, look, I have not bought a Halloween costume probably since college. And that's about 6 years now. So this is a special event. I wouldn't do this for anybody else other than Waypoint and Bass Galaxy.
We do this because we love each other.
Well, duh.
Yeah. This is
One big happy family over here.
Halloween.
Ooh,
If we were gonna do a
goldfish.
Halloween episode and not do any sort of costume, I would feel a little bit ashamed.
We would have just done a
This
fall fishing podcast.
That'd be a
This is
failed
the first season I've ever planned a holiday episode. So if I was like to plan a holiday episode and then like miss the whole holiday theme,
We
What are
should
you
do a
doing for
Thanksgiving
Christmas?
episode and just have a
No.
yes,
feast.
Okay,
Yes.
yes, but you should then have multiple guests for that, like a lot.
Like 13, 14, 24 people.
Some of your favorite people get like Easton, get like Andy Walls,
Put
get
the camera like up
all the
there.
way down
Dane,
there.
Get us.
Just mic the room. Be unlistenable, but it'd be great.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't make this for people to listen to it. I make this because it's good to get together with people, and it's an excuse to do that and talk fishing and, dress up like aliens, astronauts, and who knows what else the hell.
I can tell you have some of the most fun you have doing this.
It is fun, man. It's pretty selfish. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like, hey, what's one thing I could do where if it doesn't work out, I could say I learned a lot, I met a lot of awesome people, and it was a blast doing it. Yes.
What do you do, or how do you harness, or how do you take notes, or remember, how do you take in all of the information that you've received and not just like just get into a ridiculous cluster of brain fart with all the information that you how do you keep track of all that?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm a type B kind of guy, so it's really, there's a few things I'm organized with. The things I'm organized with, it's really beautiful. But fishing, it's more so I'm not learning always what guys are throwing or what exactly what they're doing. I mean, I'm learning how they're thinking.
I feel like
I'd
be like, oh,
I think mentality's a lot
yeah,
of that for sure.
and
I
because
would just be like,
Notes.
the thing is, I
Yeah.
get to timestamp them after.
that's how I am.
So
notes.
I have to listen to all of these twice.
So then you can get your
So
notes.
that's probably how I retain most of it. If I miss something the first time, I usually catch it the second time.
Yeah. I can't retain anything unless I write it down.
That
Really?
makes so much sense.
You should see it
Interesting.
back there, there's
You
post-it
sticky note?
notes up on the ceiling, and
I'm gonna
Sure.
use that. I'm gonna be like, write that down.
Yeah.
He won't forget anything anymore.
I'm bad at so many things. I'm really bad at a lot of things. So it's like, for me, it's.
I couldn't think of one thing you're bad at.
Really?
Yeah.
At least things we
Are you good at singing?
I'm a decent singer.
See, there's nothing he's
Yeah.
bad at.
No.
I suck at
You
singing.
look like
But
you
see,
would be good at basketball.
I have Dane to compare myself to, so
Yeah.
there's a lot I'm
Okay,
bad
that's
at
not
compared to
fair.
Dane, you know?
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it in front of
I'm
him,
just
but
kidding.
dude's like a damn superstar in our
I know,
state.
he's like the poster
awesome.
man.
We
He's
love the guy.
perfect.
Like, I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Dane, and if you say something bad about Dane, like, you better back that up because
let's
there
think of
no-
something
there-
then.
I'll say something bad.
Yeah.
He's got kind of a lumpy butt.
Well,
Okay.
okay, you guys sort that out between yourselves, but like,
I'll
as
say
far
something
as-
bad. He gets a little tunnel vision sometimes.
That's
gets
also how he's so
really-
successful.
Totally.
It's
That's-
totally 100%.
It's also
how
a
it
good
is.
thing.
It's a great thing. He does that too.
What?
You get a little tunnel vision.
What does that mean?
You get focused on a task,
Yeah.
and then you work through it, and then afterwards the world comes back to you, and you go, "Okay, what were you saying?" And I'm like, "Dude,
That's how I am too.
I was asking you if you wanted pepperoni or sausage
I
on
just
your
say
pizza."
yes. I just say yes.
I'm absolutely
He's
just
100%
like
like
that.
that.
I am
Yes.
so much like that. Every day.
And I love it because when he comes back to reality, he literally usually looks at me and just goes, "What were you saying?" And I'll just repeat myself and go, "Oh yeah, okay, this." It's funny.
I just the Helter Twister Pocky combo.
Isn't
yeah.
that a
No, we're
great-
doing that. Yeah.
That is the best fucking thing I've ever seen. It's the best promo I've ever seen.
As long as we're like legally allowed to
I
by
don't
the
see why
FDA to
not.
sell.
In case you had to
Food?
piss the
We're not
last time
selling
we were
food,
talking
selling
about
Helter
this.
Twisters, and they're getting a free snack.
Well, if the FDA is listening, we're not giving anything food related away.
yeah, that was just us
we're
talking
just
smack
kidding.
on
Yeah.
the podcast.
We're just kidding.
For legal reasons.
For all you government agents, please mute.
We're just kidding.
But for all you people who maybe were taking a piss last time we talked about it, you buy a Helter Twister, you get a free bag of Pockies, which, for as far as the FDA knows, is a fishing lure.
It's the best tasting stick I could ever think of.
Yep, best tasting
Speaking
stick
of
in the biz.
sticks.
So get you a Helter Twister, get you a free bag of chocolate Pockies, Bass's favorite flavor.
It's
You guys are
it's
talking
the
about
slender
food
scat of chocolate flavored.
That's the bait I need to throw
Graham
that you guys
crackers.
have been throwing. That
Have you thrown this?
no, I've watched you guys throw
Oh.
and catch them, and I was late on the scat
Sneaky
too. I
son
was
of a gun.
like we were talking about how you buy something and don't throw it enough, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I'm a scat guy, but slender scat, I'm like, man, I'm still throwing a Senko, man. A 6-inch Senko.
If I don't,
Go ahead.
it's our job to sell Senkos, right? And Senkos are always going to sell themselves anyways, but I've just about replaced a Senko with that.
Really?
I don't know what it is about it. I haven't quite figured it out why.
That's what I can't
But
figure out.
that
It's
thing
all right. 100%.
on a wacky rig,
So,
On a wacky.
wacky, and you can. It's got the little holder up on the front to Texas rig them, and that's how a lot of guys are throwing it. But
I don't want
on
to.
a
Well, one, it
wacky
is
rig,
heavier. That thing
is
goes.
insane.
You want to skip docks.
And like
That's the worm. That's the
Yeah.
worm to
Yeah.
skip docks with, dude.
And
That thing slings.
a wacky worm's a wacky worm, but that's not just a wacky worm.
Like, I was
Not.
skipping it when we were doing the word is bass with you.
Oh yeah, you
That-
guys were launching it
that
and
thing-
catching them. I
Yeah.
remember that.
That thing's awesome.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't checked out the word is bass, go on to our YouTube, Waypoint Angler Supply, just on YouTube. The word is bass season 2. We had 4 episodes so far. We might sneak one more in the fall here because the weather has been nice. But we did one with Mr. Teal, and we're throwing slender scats, and
Like
he's
the
throwing
strawberry-
OSP dice.
Strawberry
and
cheesecake
and-
color.
I threw a glide bait a little bit, and then he caught a big
VTS5.
one on. Oh, I caught a couple on a VTS5, and so
That's
did
the day
you.
I caught that big and on a gimme.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't think we had a scale, but it was. Or did we weigh it?
I don't remember.
did you ever use the gimme as a jig trailer?
Yeah, but I remember on Bogie.
Oh
I caught
yeah.
big and on Bogie on the gimme free rigging.
Yep.
Like right after we did that, I
Yep.
went to Bogie and did it.
Yep.
But
That's a good lure,
jig
guys.
trailer, no. But I I know a few guys and I won't out their names, that love that as a jig trailer. I love it as a free rig, Texas rig, sea rig bait. Love it as that. And I can think of a few occasions for a jig trailer, on an ace jig especially, untamed ace jig.
I've got...
Or a breacher.
I've got those gimmies. I got a full restock coming in 3.5 and 4.5.
Hell yeah.
So hopefully by the time this airs, I'll have more, but...
I mean, if folks are looking for a sneaky gill bait, that's
Yeah.
that's the one. I mean, every tackle shop might carry the G-Crack Bellows gill, and we know that's a good bait, but I'm telling you right now, like, the amount...
Diagram right on the front there.
Like, there's going to be some guys pissing me for talking about it, including myself, but...
They can be mad at me. I brought it up.
Eric brought it up, okay?
It's my fault.
It is just...
Come buy them so no one else can buy them.
It's kind of like the scat, where it's like, I don't understand why, like, that gets a 4-pound bite and another bait doesn't.
Yeah.
But this bait gets fucking big bites.
Yes, it does.
There's-
I think because it moves so much water.
Kind of like that AC Danny gets big bites.
That's a sneaky one too.
There's
Like, if we're talking about...
There's a lot of talk of the 3.5, and I think that's pretty well known. The 3.5 gimme.
4.5's new, right?
Yeah, it's newer. Have you done any experimenting with that one? Because that's that's been a really the 3.5 gimme guys are coming in, shopping them, buying them online. But the 4.5, like, I'm gonna get a restock of those tomorrow, and they're gonna sell out online in probably 10 minutes or less without posting them, without advertising them. There's just that many guys looking for them. Have you? And
it makes
that's why I
sense to
haven't
me.
been able to actually throw it, because it's such high demand.
Because I think what people struggle with a 4+ inch gill is the sheer weight and size of it, right? And that gimme is a little more slimmed down than, say, a Hero Taylor or
more
a
slender.
G-Crack Bellows gill. So that 4.5 size is extra appetizing to me for that reason. You know, if we're talking about a 0-1 strong or mob jig,
Just a regular 0-1.
regular jig or what have you, that 4.5 is gonna, like, not overpower a jig. It's not gonna overpower a Texas rig where it's, you know, on a pegged weight.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, that 4.5 size, it might be the magic size. And I'll be honest, the 3.5 gets big ones. So the guys who know that know the 4.5 is probably going to get just as big of bites, and the bait is thin enough where it's going to, that bigger, wider profile bait is going to fold nicely, and the hookup ratio is going to be good. And yeah.
Have you
I'm just seeing. I got a photo.
have you ever bit the head off like it was designed to and put on the back of a bottom up gap jig? Have you rigged those two together yet?
No. In fact, that's a beautiful sight.
There it is back there hiding underneath, but
That's an OSB.
That's a standard OSB.
So for me, the gap jig, God, I can't believe I'm even talking about this, but
Those were made to pair together. That plus gap jig is heaven.
and I personally think the best trailer for the gap jig is that hide up stagger twin and the Issy Danny.
Sure.
And the gimme to me is such a good free rig Texas rig bait that when I'm mimicking a bluegill, I'm doing better with the hide up bait, and when I'm doing the craw deal, that Danny. And I guess the gimme to me, it's just, maybe it's because I didn't have enough of them.
Sure.
So I didn't play with it
Yeah,
enough
they're-
on a jig
they're
because
not-
I didn't want to tear them up.
They're not the most durable, so I could see that.
That's, I think, the main reason I probably haven't played with it on a jig. But like talking to, I hate to out you, Walker, but talking to like Walker Crampets and some of those guys, he likes it on the back of a jig.
Yeah, my experience with that would be pair it up with the gimme, bite the head off, and I'm almost like floating it over the top of the weeds on live scope and watching it, and you can watch they come out of the weeds and just inhale it.
With like a depth headlock jig?
No, with the gap jig. Like that jig plus that, your return on live scope, that combination of the two.
Yeah.
It's insane how well that shows up on live.
Show that camera that jig. So
and just kind of swimming it, hopping it over the tops of weeds.
real close. It's wide angle.
That's been pretty crazy.
And that to me is like, you know, when we're talking about kind of the niches you guys have found with here at Waypoint and with the JDM market, that's cool. Is, I mean, there's not an American jig that's really made like a true micro jig, like that gap jig that comes through the cover, that jig comes through.
And to have a good hook.
Correct.
That hook is what makes you can full on set the hook with it, and you don't have to worry about that thing bending out. Like
I've thrown it on other jigs. So
I got a money.
That is 100% quality. Like,
I got a money combo from Dane. It's that he had that. It's like one step lighter than the Puppet Master. It's that MB736 blank.
I don't own one of those.
And it's perfect for like that 1/4 ounce Texas rig, like 16-pound line, 14-pound line, 1/4 ounce unpegged Texas rig. I've been playing with like 12, 14-pound tests with like smaller jigs and stuff, and like, dude, that gap jig is locked on that rod. Like I ain't and then a free rig on that rod is real good too. But and then the scat, I use 1 power faster. But it's amazing that gap jig will perform on, 12-pound tests to, 16, 18-pound tests, no problem. But I think that's just what I love about some of the stuff you guys carry is you're really able to think differently yet similar to what you do. If you're a jig fisherman and you don't like fishing a spinning rod, I mean, you can throw a jig worm version of a jig on a bait caster, a little lighter setup, and probably have more success some days than you would on a spinning rod just because no one else is doing it, And that's just what's kind of been cool about the JDM market is you can find some of those nuances. And the gimme, I guess, it was one I wasn't sure when you guys first took it on. I wasn't sure about it, and it was like pretty instant feedback that there was something to it. And I can't explain it, but you can't find another bait in this store like it, exactly like it.
Not exactly like that.
And I'd venture to guess that you go online, you ain't gonna find a bait quite like it. So I think it's what's cool about the Japanese is I think they test things to catch them, not to sell it. They test things, I think, to catch fish versus to sell tackle because the market isn't huge over there. So the gains aren't absolutely huge.
And
from a sales standpoint.
That's the irony of it is the reality is the things that catch fish sell the best. I mean, the old adage, of course, is you catch the angler, but like if we're talking real world, like this is what sells. If they have success on it, they'll come back and buy it every time.
Right.
I mean,
I
bought out Berkeley chigger craws all the time as a kid because I was catching fish on them.
They still do.
They still do. Are they the best trailer in the market anymore? Probably not. I got some sneaky stuff, and so do you, and so do all of us here at Waypoint that might beat it. But the reality was I kept buying it because I was catching fish on it, and they didn't even have to market the thing.
Right.
So that's just the way it is. So if you're making stuff to catch fish and to hold up and have quality, you're gonna dominate in this world. It's just not everyone realizes it.
Well, people are starting to get it, right? Yes. That Japan is a couple years ahead of us, and some would argue at quite a few more years than that. But
probably
like
5 or 6.
I think Ross and I were talking about it. But like fishing, there's no secret spots anymore.
No.
There's no like people are finding bass. Everybody's finding bass. It's how can you make a bite better, right? So it's all a catching game now. So it's how can you catch them better than the next guy? Well, if everyone's throwing XX and X, we know those fish get conditioned, and it's been proven on the most pressured lake in the state that some of these new items that you guys sell
can be quite the difference maker.
Yeah, if they haven't seen it before, they'll react to it appropriately.
Absolutely.
So it's crazy. Definitely happens here all the time. I mean, like, I got about 3 baits that I can throw out here that these fish have never seen. I don't want to say I'll never seen them because I've thrown them, but like they're not seeing them every day. And other than that, like, sure, jig worm and motor oil is going to catch them. It will, but
It will.
But if you find something different to throw in there that gets a right reaction, they might eat it.
Absolutely.
I don't mean just this. There's other stuff there that we can throw, but like that's the concept is what can you make a difference with?
Yeah, we were talking about like it's not. It's
These
no
fish-
Teal's Bass Galaxy is now offering intergalactic merchandise. That's right. We got apparel now, baby. Check out our website. We got a variety of apparel, hats, bucket hats, sweatshirts, t-shirts, all the finest goods. So stop on our website, tealsbassgalaxy.com, click on the apparel tab, and start looking good, baby.
Sure, smart, Ross.
It's no longer finding them. Like there's 4-pounders everywhere in Tonka, and
They're
there's a lot
all
of people
educated
throwing at them
'Cause
every
they
day.
all
But
seen every boat in the lake.
difference is in the details nowadays with how you're catching them and how you're fishing for them and how you're positioning the boat and what baits are you showing them. And I think what's cool about what you guys are offering is you're offering an alternative to any other shop in the state, and like at a time that's probably more crucial to be throwing something different.
What's your secret juice on Tonka?
I'm trying to think.
Did we just give it away?
No. Maybe.
Yeah, what's the number one
It's-
selling lure for Tonka?
Ooh.
What's the best catching bait on
Bellows
Tonka?
Gill by far.
Carlos
dude.
Gill is
Them
by far the number one
suckers.
seller, but
You all are
it's-
fiends for them.
It's you keep playing. It's like fishermen keep playing catch up almost. Like they want to get that one bait that nobody else is throwing, guaranteed. And there's 3 pegs of it, 6 each. They buy that bait, so nobody else can buy it. Then next week they come in. Oh, that's new. Got maybe a couple of those in stock. Buy those. The next week they come in. That's new.
Like
So
Kylie.
then they buy those.
Like I was talking
So
about
it's like
Kylie.
it's kind of this like where does
I
it
won, come back by the rest.
like where does it like where's this like is there a stopping point to that like
No.
because then you're 12 new baits.
Well, think about like Jay. Like Jay's been doing that for millennia. I mean, he's talked about it with the Rapala DTs. Like that was the
You
deal.
buy all of them.
So maybe
You
not
buy
a stopping
every single one.
maybe not a stopping point,
There's
but
no
like if you have 12 new baits that you're trying and you caught fish on the 4th out of the 12, now I can't get that bait.
I mean,
I don't know. Like it's
That's the
That's
my
frustrating.
right.
head spin.
Yeah, it's gotta piss you off almost when a guy buys all of something. So you're like, fuck.
It's great.
It's great, but if you can't get it back,
and a lot of it's hard to track because guys don't want to talk about what they're catching them on, and they don't want anybody to know about it. Oh, it's all just things.
I've given up on trying to hide shit. I got like 2 things I can hide that are left, and everything else I have to talk about because we sell it.
I gotta be honest with you. I think you were born to wear that hat.
Really?
Yeah, I agree. I
It
think
looks
you
good
should
on
wear
you.
it.
It looks good on you.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to change from a flat bill every now and then.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Eric. That's like the flat bill of curved bills.
It's
Yeah,
kind
I know
of
what I
is.
mean. We don't have to call you flat hat anymore. Sean calls you flat hat. Now we can call you curved hat.
I thought he called me Flat Bill.
Flat hat.
Is
Flat
that what he
hat
calls
guy.
me?
I'll call
You know, you could tell him I have a name.
Flat hat's better.
It's kind of fun. Oh well. I've been called worse.
I've been called much worse as well.
Yeah, I can deal with that nickname. I've been called much worse.
I'm just debating how many Helter Twisters I want to buy and how many Pockies I want to get.
Every one you get a free pack of Pockies. So
I know.
Yeah, whoever is out there,
It's
and is
better than
wondering
just
if it's
buying
really gonna
Pockies,
be
and it's
worth
better
it,
than just buying Helter Twisters.
If you've never tried a Pocky, you should buy some.
this is
Helter
your
Twisters.
perfect chance to try a Helter Twister and try a Pocky. Both you've probably never tried either, but
Teal
I think you'll be.
shown the photos of the Helter Twister.
I think you'll
I
be.
won't do that because then you'll be out of Helter Twisters and Pockies.
You'll be pleasantly surprised by both. It's
I'll
like
be
a- it's
honest,
like
I'm
a
kind of
win-win.
glad you guys don't sell a ton of these. This is one of them fly under the radar spinner buggies, and that's what I like about
You're
it.
gonna
Sometimes
twist
it's
my
fun to
arm
keep
into
it that
buying
way.
one, aren't you?
I'll think
That's
about
one
it.
of the ones I haven't got yet. I got a lot of the stuff from here. That's one of the few things I ain't tried yet. I'm scared of it.
Golden
You know-
Shiner deal.
I know I'm gonna get
I don't
fish.
know that you. You don't even own a cover scat, do you?
Yeah, I own some cover scats.
Yeah?
I just didn't catch them on it very good because I was throwing an OSP jig.
You put it down too fast.
No, because I was throwing an OSP jig and catching them already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it down too fast. I was catching fish. What am I
was trying
supposed to do?
think of
Stop
baits-
catching
I was trying
fish?
to think of baits that you don't own. I was thinking. I thought cover scat was on. that
Cover
list.
skit is one I don't throw very often.
Yeah.
I don't have some of the raid stuff. I really like their ego chunks. I don't have any 2-ways.
Yeah. I noticed
I got some 2 ways.
when we go out, there's stuff that I have that you don't, and there's definitely stuff that you have that I don't.
Well, yeah, you don't buy ego chunks or jigs for that matter. We took
Untamed.
him flipping this year. That was fun.
Untamed changed my perspective on jigs because I hate that everybody's throwing the same freaking jig, and
Was
I
it
just
that or me and Plouffe going and showing you how it works?
it was both, but
That's like
it just
That
made
Untamed
it just
Breacher is the
they're
deal.
amazing.
it made me mad.
We were flipping them that day.
It just made me mad that everybody's throwing the same frickin' jig. Same frickin' jig, same frickin' jigs. I'm just like, I hate it.
Well, and then there's this jig.
And then there's that one, yeah. But,
Which we don't need to talk about that.
yeah.
There ain't enough to talk about that one.
Yeah, we don't have
That
very many of them.
the untamed jig is what,
One left.
the breacher jig is 100% what changed my perspective on jigs. No question. No question.
That's
frickin-
fair. It's a.
You can throw it anywhere. It skips fine if you want to skip docks with it.
Have you tried the ace jig yet?
Skips amazing.
See, I don't know because
There's a jig, dude.
I started with the breacher
Kyle
and
Lutzer, shout out.
I started with the breacher and I just felt like that I just stuck with that. It did everything I ever needed it to do. It got through that little bridge we were fishing out here, got through the stuff just fine in about 16 inches of water. It penetrated that little membrane.
I just can't wait to expand your palate with the jigs. We'll get them. Just
that,
give it a
that
couple years.
breacher jig does everything I ever
He's gonna be a
wanted
better
to
jig
do.
fisherman than both of us by the time I'm done.
If you're fishing wooden docks, the ace is a little better.
Yeah, it's money.
But the breacher, if you're in grass, I mean, there's no better grass
Yeah.
jig I've ever thrown in my life than that untamed
Yeah.
breacher jig,
Bro, that ace jig, one of the best skipping jigs I've ever owned.
for sure.
Really
It's a
good.
damn good dock and wood jig.
One thing I love about the this is all of the untamed tackle because I've thrown their net head and I've thrown their swim bait head. They don't bend. Oh, and I throw their swim jig. They don't bend. And
Like the keeper too, doesn't tear the
they're
bait
great. But we've talked about this. I hate a jig that bends. I got burned a couple times in tournaments on jigs that bent out. Ned rigs. Their Ned rig's awesome. I threw it at Vermilion when I wanted a chartreuse Ned.
From Ross told me about your drag, yeah. You
Yeah,
do
I
not
ju-
want a jig that bends out.
No.
I don't blame you.
Well, and that's just spinning gear that he's talking about. Was casting gear, it's locked. So I'll fight them, but
Yeah, no,
I
you
don't-
start with it locked.
I don't have enough power.
I don't have enough
Yeah,
thunder
you're
lighting either.
you're like me.
I lost a bass having my drag too loose
Yeah,
this year
so-
in Tonka, big one.
I can't drive a hook like Connor is a good example. Connor puts his hips into it.
Hips, a little bit of hips.
You know how they like break down like baseball swings,
Mm-hmm.
like with analytics. If we could start breaking down hook sets, we'd get Connor on there, and you would see some hip rotation like you never seen before.
Is that a fruit by the foot?
Fruit by the foot.
You sneaky motherfucker. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Let me
but
get 2 inches. Let me get 3 inches of that, boss.
they used to have the one that you would just rip down the middle, and then you'd have fruit by the 6 foot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, those
Then
were the
We
best.
could each have a foot. No, I just want a few inches. Oh wow, that's
Oh
bigger
my
than
God.
a slender scat. Thank you. That's so good. I'm gonna hit your lips.
The best part is the end right there. That's
Oh,
the
thank
best
you.
part.
Yeah, because it's doubled.
That's the best part of the fruit by the foot.
Double whammy. I thought is that small? When that's not small when you roll it out.
Depends which way you look at it, because when it's rolled up,
Valid. I didn't even notice he took off his alien suit till just now.
Really?
it was getting sweaty not wearing my man-mades.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm impressed you made it as far as you did. You looked good.
Yeah, I know.
You were
Probably
killing
didn't
it.
feel very good, but you looked
I
good.
usually look okay. Most days I look pretty good.
Hell yeah.
As long as his back's doing good. Which it has been lately. He's doing great. That was a whole thing. If you didn't know, Ross had the weakest back in the West, and now he's got the strongest back.
Hey, but nobody actually knows the story. It was your fault.
No, it's not my fault. You
It
were
was
driving.
your fault.
It's not my fault. You were driving.
It was
You
your
guys got in
fault.
an accident
No,
together?
there was no accident.
It was basically an accident, yeah.
He's being so dramatic.
Okay, tell the story.
All right, so we were out on Tonka on a Saturday. There's your first mistake. On a Saturday after work, because I asked Ross if we could go fishing. He said, sure, we can go this Saturday. So we took his boat out on Tonka. And of course, anyone who knows Tonka on a Saturday, it's an absolute gong show.
Oh yeah.
It's just
No way around it.
clusterfuckery
Yep.
everywhere.
No way around it.
So we're driving back to take off after having a mediocre day on Tonka. Pretty good for a Saturday, not gonna lie. We caught some fish. And there's, of course, a wake boat going between the islands as you're coming east into Spring Park and then heading north. And Ross comes over the crest of the wave, and he hits the top of the wave with the very crest of the boat, and it just goes whack. And at the time, we both kind of looked at each other and goes, that was a rough one, and just keep it moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
He comes back to work on Monday 2 days later, and he's got like the cripple walk going.
Oh no.
And we're pretty sure that's when it happened, and when he had his back issue.
It was funny for like 3 weeks.
And then it sucked because he had to get 3 surgeries.
Ugh.
Now it's funny again.
It's funny because he can blame me for something that was his fault.
You took me to a new spot that I had never been to before. We caught him there. Now I still, to this day, catch him there.
I thought you were going to say I still don't know where it is.
No, I know exactly where it is.
You're welcome.
You are thank you'd.
You have been thanking me ever since.
Boys, what was our favorite Third Street beverage tonight?
Ooh.
Raspberry
Raspberry?
was a
favorite.
They're all very,
So you've had the micro raz,
all
the micro
very
peach.
distinct, all very good.
Micro
I don't
lemon.
have any complaints. None.
Perfect. You're going to take a bunch home. And for anybody who hasn't tried the Third Street Brewhouse, your favorite was the Minnesota Gold Lager?
I'll say my favorite was the Minnesota Gold Lager, but as far as Oktoberfest beers goes, this is
I've
easily
not-
in the top 3.
I've
I'll
not
send some
had
home with you.
a better Oktoberfest.
Oh,
It's
you
got
had-
the
yeah.
perfect level of spice and the perfect level of nice.
It's not too hoppy.
and
it's a
not
lot of
too,
fun, though.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. It's not too dark. And I mean, nothing against dark beers, but like when I'm trying to have
That's
2,
a lot
3
to eat,
beers,
though.
that one's kind of like it leaves you feeling good after the beer.
There's nothing worse than beer, like a brewery that all their beer tastes the same.
Yeah.
And they, by no means, have that problem. It's all very,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Very distinct.
Different but good. Different from each other.
Yeah, and I don't feel.
I like it.
I don't feel full at
Good.
all.
Well,
I
the
love it.
micros have like 2 carbs in them, I think, or something. So
Yeah.
they're real light. That lager's, those 2 are a touch heavier, but Eric needs it.
Yeah, I could
just
put on
like
a
I
pound
do.
or 2.
But I'm glad you guys like them. That's good. And
Yeah,
I feel
bulk
like that's like that little hometown hero that's been around for 100 years that the world deserves to know about. So, and they provided us, they've provided our tongues some thirst quenching during this episode. So thank you, Third Street.
Shout out to Third Street.
And freaking talked about some awesome baits today. I think we should end this episode by saying the Milfoilia Planet Prayer again.
You
like
should
to
take part
close
in
it
this.
out. Is there anything
I have one
else we
thing
need to talk about?
I want to talk about before we close.
Absolutely.
If the Vikings win the Super Bowl, will you get matching Vikings Super Bowl tattoos with me? Erik
I told you if
P.
they win.
Gaffron.
1, my middle name's does not start with a P. Let the record be known. 2, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a yes. Did you hear that?
I told you this last year. If
I
they
did.
you
win,
want to
the-
get on this too?
Yeah, I'll
if,
do it.
if they win the Super Bowl,
Yep.
I will gladly get a Vikings tattoo.
Yeah,
it will be
same.
worth the sacrifice on my body.
Oh,
I'll do that for you.
All right.
Just for you. Like,
Okay.
Absolutely.
okay.
Like I said, they gotta win. Like you said, they gotta win.
Well,
And I'm not back. I won't even back out. I won't even be mad. I'll be like,
They're
sick.
gonna- they're
I get
gonna
a
win,
Vikings
so.
tattoo.
Yeah. Sammy D is going to take us to the promised land.
And if not, we got JJ McCarthy waiting in the wings for future.
Yeah. Or we'll trade him away now that Sammy D takes us to the promised land. We don't need
they
him
don't do
anymore.
that.
I just sent it to my phone so we can all do it together. So matching tattoos, does it matter what the tattoos are?
Well, it can't say
It'll have to-
skull or anything related to skull.
Can we just put like a outline of the Lombardi Trophy and then the year?
Yeah.
I would do that. That'd be cool.
And we could get like Justin Jefferson's autograph.
I'll think about it. If he's how about this? If he's a Super Bowl MVP, I'll get
Yeah.
the JJ autograph on me.
Yeah, that's what.
I'll do it
that
on
would
my
be the
leg.
deal.
Deal.
Yeah.
I'll put one on my leg.
I'm getting Darnold right on my scrotum.
Wow. You know what? I appreciate your commitment. I don't know if you're gonna really appreciate the outcome, but I appreciate your commitment.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, for those who have made it this far and are done trick-or-treating, and, we would like to recite the Planet of Milfolia's national anthem
National anthem / prayer.
/ mission statement.
Yeah.
I think it's
All right.
it's something.
La, 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 la. You guys warmed up?
I'm warm.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Milfoilia is a stunning celestial body located in a distant galaxy. This enchanting planet is named after the delicate yet resilient milfoil plant, which symbolizes creativity and determination. Milfoilia's breathtaking landscapes feature sprawling continents, shimmering crystal caverns, and vast oceans that shimmer in shades of sapphire and amethyst. The atmosphere on Milfoilia is alive with a mesmerizing dance of iridescent energy currents, creating an otherworldly spectacle that illuminates the sky. This phenomenon is known as the Milfoilian aura, and it has captivated the imagination of intergalactic travelers and scientists alike. Milfoilia's unique properties make an intriguing destination for exploration and discovery, inviting those who seek to unravel its secrets and marvel at its beauty, and flip an untamed breacher jig. Thank you, boys.
Amen.
Teal's Bass Galaxy, Halloween, Oktoberfest, Waypoint Angler Supply, checking in, checking out. Skull. Adios. Skull.